Okay, start stream. Okay, go. Oh, got it. Okay, good. Hey, what's up, Walky Talky podcasting people? It's one of the people here. Yeah, hi, Joseph. Joseph is here. Let me show you Joseph. Joseph is here, everybody. Oh, he is so here right now. Like, the amount of here-ness that he is. Like I bet he could hear, like, up to, like, 20 decibels. That's how much here he is. But, what's the word? Anagram, polygram, metaphor aside, double entendre aside, let me there, hi!
There he is. Hey.
So I for the stream, because for the intro, oh god, where's my, okay, so I'm all sweaty, right, because I had to run back. Okay, so listen, I was going to walk this podcast because Kitamaki being, you just eat at 3 a.m. on the podcast. Okay, first of all, that's comedy. but second of all,
but I also walk at 3 a.m. on the podcast.
Plus, it's salmon and strawberry, so it's healthy.
Oh yeah, dude! You know how many times I've eaten salmon and strawberries on this podcast? You know, Tom Brady's favorite food.
All that's to say,
Tom Brady.
All the talkiness around here aside, we for gosh darn sure we walkie. Okay, don't get that wrong. If not Kamui, then both me and Kamui always walks. Trippy, it's chills for the most part, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, like, technically we're at a podcast episode like -50 probably, because not all three of us have ever walked. But
that's true. We're keeping track.
Figure out how to do it.
We are keeping score. So
I've got true to the original idea. Which I gotta say though, I'm grateful for it, because it is so fucking easy to get a ridiculous shitload of cardio in just by doing this podcast.
So that's why I'm all sweaty, because I was walking, because like, oh, my microphone isn't here yet, even though it was supposed to be here a week ago. It's going to be here Friday now, apparently. Down from Saturday, though, even though they delayed it to Saturday like 3 different times. So I had to walk. So I was like, oh man, perfect opportunity for me to walk. Trippy's gonna stream it. I don't have my new microphone yet. Lo and behold, run back, plug in this stupid, crappy, dumb, ugly microphone of the Snowball that's like $30 or something I got for free, by the way. Everything is Shinjutsu. Okay, but anyways, Friday, okay, listen. The point is, Diego's Bloodspray is our guest. Say hi.
Hi, hello. I'm
right,
Diego's Blood. Back to spray.
Perfect. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm
Actually, you know what?
I'm Diego's Blood Spray. I make Naruto videos, stuff like that.
Into your name.
When I used to be in this like JoJo Instagram meme group, and we would like use the character names, and I chose to use Diego from Part 7 Steel Ball Run, and that name like stuck for a while with me, so I just called myself Diego even when that group fell apart. And then I like this old like action crime manga anime named Lupin the Third, and my favorite character, Goemon Ishikawa the 13th, has a movie called Goemon's Bloodspray. So then I just made Diego's Bloodspray.
Okay. Interesting. Continue the intro now.
Thank you.
Some would argue intriguing.
They called me a guest, but this is my podcast actually. My name's Diego's Bloodspray. I make Naruto videos and other videos about other stuff sometimes. Today we have on my podcast Trippy, Kamui, and Oodie.
It's true. We actually did sign the contract right before this started, so we've given the rights to him. This is officially his.
Just for today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Bye,
sir.
everyone. This is our last time on this podcast.
Yeah, this is the last podcast.
With that being said, I did have a lot of wild, intriguing topics to talk about over the course of this stream. The main one being Urashiki, as everyone knows. But before that, hey Swifty, you want to come up so I can slam you on Tenten versus Tonton again?
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Because I did write this in my podcast. Hey, Swifty! Swifty, hey, what's going on? You have no power here, so you can't mute me anymore. So, Swifty, do you remember that time when I slammed you on Tenten versus Tonton? Hey, what's up, Conway?
Real quick.
That being
I
said...
want to hear the argument. I want to hear the argument.
The argument was he keeps up with Jiraiya in terms of travel speed, which doesn't matter.
That being said, I'm showing the proof right here. My 41st debate ever, Big Oodie, Tonton, versus You Got to Get Swifty, Tenten, and I won.
And where are you showing
First
that?
off, I don't know who You
On
Got to
stream.
Get Swifty is. Secondly, I don't even know if that thing is valid, so it doesn't matter.
It's also in the cloud, and I also have several scans of you saying that I was just better than you. So.
What the fuck? You know what, Oodie? Continue with your podcast.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. So that's why I'm bringing this up. So we have here this image of Swifty admitting that I'm better than him. We also have a few other images of Swifty admitting that I'm better.
Quite a
Here's
thing
proof.
to admit to,
Oh
bro.
my
Not gonna lie.
Here's
What? That
proof.
was like a year and a half ago.
So here's where a different
You
topic.
still
by
said
the
it.
way.
Like, why would you say it publicly?
But I
What?
did debate
Because-
him on if
No.
Hiruzen
Oh, wait, Oodie,
exists,
I
and I
remember
did
this.
win.
The fact of the matter is, he
remember
is
these
smarter than
debates.
me. I don't really care
I
for
actually
that.
remember these debates when you did this. The Naruto
What?
can't use the
See,
will. I remember
Kamui just
seeing that.
chatting. Kamui's just chatting.
I remember seeing some of this too.
No. I
So
remember
here's
when
it
they
doesn't
did
exist.
the debate. I'll be honest. I did not listen to it,
Oodie,
but I
there is
remember
so
freaking
much
posting
context
these
behind this.
results.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Give the context while I bring up the next scan.
What? You realize
All right,
this
so
was
here's
like...
Swifty abusing his power as mod. So here, it's just consistent that he does this, by the way.
What?
Hence how I introduced him
That
as
was
saying,
like
you
a year
can't
and a
mute
half
me
ago.
here.
What the fuck?
And I think we have,
Got it.
well, this one doesn't involve Swifty, but it is me showing
Wait, who is
supremacy
that
in
guy?
general.
Wait, who is
But
that guy?
anyways.
Who was who? Oh,
I
Juju?
don't- You got to get Swifty.
I don't know, Swifty. Who would Swifty be? Is very, very weird.
I don't
very
know. So
arguable.
you
That
don't
was
know
your
who he is.
original
You
name.
don't
I
know how-
remember it.
Man, Oodie, are we gonna act like you were not getting beat up yesterday?
Okay, so Swifty, that's the reason that I brought you on. So I was hoping we could go over those points that we discussed the other night. So the
I
podcast.
can't.
topic
Wait,
here.
I can't recall the points.
It was you showed me this this tier list or whatever.
Literally
And
right
for some
after that-
reason, for some
Right
god
after
forbidden
that, I
reason,
went
you
to
had
see-
Ishiki over Code, even though that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And so I started debating you, the lowly Swifty who had admitted inferiority over the almighty supremacy of Oodie, as shown in this screenshot right here. We started debating Jigen versus Ishiki and why Jigen
Wait,
stomps
Oodie, are you slow
Ishiki.
or something?
Obviously.
I said you're smarter than me. That doesn't equate to debate. What?
All right, so I'm glad that you conceded. So like we were saying the other night, though, because again, that's another topic. I know it's hard, Swifty, to stay on topic, being not as smart as your almighty god, Oodie. But let's try and stay on track, Swifty. So Swifty, so why did you think Ishiki was stronger than Jigen?
What? It's stated?
Stated? Or you did not provide any statements, but rather the only statements. By the way, I'm the only one that
I have
presented
the
an
statement.
argument.
I have the statement.
Well, he didn't provide it the other night, so either way, the other night I won.
What
But you
the
can
fuck?
go ahead and present it now.
We
But,
accepted it and moved on.
again, I was the only one who even provided scaling or arguments in the first place. You never even got a
What?
chance to go. It's mostly,
I'm
you know,
actually-
I was going until you
argument.
unjustly banned me, and then
What?
Izagi, being the
What?
saint
You-
he is, the halo above his head,
Now he's just
angel
chatting. He was never
whispering in
banned.
his ear, told him the right thing to do, to add me
You-
back.
What? You
Oodie,
weren't
at this
banned.
point, I just want to hear your Jigen beats Ishiki argument. I just want to see how funny it is.
Okay,
Yeah, I
No,
wanna
you
hear
never
this too.
made an argument. No, you never made an argument for Jigen beating Ishiki. What?
I've made several. So by the way,
let's
just
hear
to
'em.
debunk this scan, his jutsu is a different level of power. Not Jigen himself compared to Ishiki.
What
so
the fuck?
specifically his shrinking jutsu. So this is something that Jigen never
no.
did in
Are
front
you-
of Kashin Koji. So
What are you
it's completely
retarded?
fine.
This isn't the statement I was referring
He
to.
says he's shrinking my jutsu instantly, which is sort of referring to the fact that he can instantly react to his jutsu, meaning that he would be stronger physically.
Yeah,
He doesn't
that's,
say the jutsu is
that's
worse.
one interpretation of which is worse, but it is an interpretation. I'll give you that.
Just to
But
say this is a whole different power, different level of power than when he was Jigen. He doesn't say his Sukuna Hikona is.
okay, but also
only
Kashin
better.
Koji is like 3. Is he even potty trained? Why is he a reliable narrator?
What?
He's literally been watching. He's been watching Jigen with Amato to like find out how to take him down.
Okay, and he says, then when he was Jigen. Ishiki was never Jigen. Ishiki was Ishiki, and Jigen was a monk, and Ishiki just so happened to be inside of his head. So if he can't even know who Jigen is in the first place,
Stop
how are we
gooning.
ever going to trust his judgment on how
Actually, Oodie,
strong they
I think
are?
a better
Stop
argument for you to
gooning.
make, I feel like a funnier argument for you to make would be that Kashin Koji is only referring to the 10% Jigen he fought here.
Oh, well,
So
that's what I
Ishiki's
was
only
getting
better
at.
than
Yeah,
the
Jigen was
10%
at 10%. He was literally crying on his knees after he got slammed by Naruto and Sasuke. And so he had to retreat
This is
that
the only
battle.
Jigen Koji's fought in you, so he could just be referring to that one.
Exactly, yeah. So, okay, so Ishiki is stronger than, what, 5% Jigen? Cool, bro. So anyway, so
What the
100%
hell?
Jigen, who
Quantify
has...
the five.
Who
Quantify
has
the 5%.
Karma Stage 1, Karma Stage 2, Karma Stage 3, and even 4, especially with the 10 Tails power Jubi Amp. Keep in mind, half of the 9 Tails was stated tremendously stronger than all other Tailed beasts, and you got the Jubi on top. Okay, oh my goodness. Okay, so Jigen's just a whole nother tier of power compared to Ishiki.
No, actually, I'm gonna look at something while you continue arguing, and I think it's gonna be hilarious if my conjecture is correct.
So another thing, this is one of the arguments that I brought up the other night against Swifty, is that well, as we know,
Oodie, like I don't know if you realize there's literally a dot or a period right there. So this is separating 2 points. He's saying the
Really?
shuriken that he shrunk was so fast.
that's
then he
not a
says
period, that's an
Ishiki has
exclamation part. Do you not know English grammatical
fuck?
structure?
Are you stupid?
Whoa.
So if you
Talking
can't
about the
even
canon.
grammaticize
This is getting kind of
Check,
kind of heavy.
check the third scan I sent. Either way, it would just be a narrative consistency rather than you just having one
Oh
scan.
my god.
Trust me, Diego, we go way back.
narrative.
What the author is trying to tell us is that Ishiki is above Jigen. So there's a consistency for that. My argument would be stronger.
What, you mean the dumb idiot author? We don't even know if it is Kishimoto or not. How are we gonna trust him?
Oh my god.
That's arbitrary. I don't care for it. Anyway,
Alright,
so
so
you're gonna
like,
attack the argument?
plus, have you never heard of
Regardless
Death
of
of
who
the
writes
Author?
it, an editor still has to go over it. So
Yeah, so power scaling is separate from the
single editor.
narrative, so it's also completely okay. Anything
No,
they
it
say
isn't. You
cannot
can, no,
count.
you can
Ever,
use the
no
narrative
matter
to
what.
power scale. Like what the narrative is telling us right now is that
so
Ishiki is
Swifty's
above
resorting
Jigen.
to the bottom of the barrel scum arguments of the narrative in a power scaling discussion.
So you're
Oh.
just not gonna attack the argument. Nice.
Alright, so
Anyways,
like I
I'm
was
gonna go
saying,
eat-
so back to
no,
my
anyways, I'm
argument
gonna go
before
eat my
Swifty
cookie.
was rudely
I'll
interrupting
join
me.
back
So,
later if you guys are still here.
alright, that's cool. I'll just recap the argument. I'll recap my other points then. So, one thing I was explaining is that chakra is in every cell of the body, and Jigen has more cells in his body than Ishiki does, because Jigen has hair, and hair is cells, and
Oh my
Ishiki is
gosh.
bald.
This is wild.
So,
Well,
just
what if
by default he
Ishiki
has more
bigger
chakra?
muscles though, and his muscles were specifically formed by hyperplasia, where the muscle cell wasn't grown, but instead split into more cells. So we cannot define which it was in his case.
I'm sorry,
But
by what?
If he underwent hyperplasia, remember that term, guys, Ishiki could have more muscle cells and therefore have more cells overall.
It's possible, but you'd
so
need to
smart.
prove that.
Ishiki does look a little bit more
You
jacked.
can't prove his
It is
hair has
entirely
cells.
possible.
You can't prove his hair has cells.
Hair is dead
Also-
skin cells. I looked this
also,
up the other
Oodie.
night when debating something.
Actually, never mind. Jigen grows a horn. I was going to say Ishiki also has a horn, but Jigen grows a horn. I'm assuming
Wow,
you're referring to the
ooh.
horned one.
Well, that still doesn't matter since we don't know if it's significant. If it
We
isn't,
do know it's
then-
significant because you tried to dismiss this argument by moving on, and I wouldn't let you. And then you started backtracking, and I wouldn't let you do that either. So both of these
That's it,
contradicted,
Oodie.
hypocritical natures of your contradictions, I
Oodie, can you,
refuse
like,
to allow
stop-
to go through.
Can you stop just talking? You're not gonna be able to prove why it's significant.
Okay, so like I was saying, why it's significant is because in the Minato manga, as well as when Jiraiya's training with Naruto the Rasengan, we hear about the hair whirls, okay? And the hair whirls are required to help you need chakra.
It
And
doesn't
so,
say required.
because
It says it makes it
Ishiki
easier.
is
That's what it
bald.
says.
He doesn't have a hair whirl.
No, it
He is
says it
unable
makes it
to need a
easier. It
chakra.
doesn't say it's
Hence why he
required.
uses
Those are
Shinjutsu, because
two
he
different
cannot
things.
use ninjutsu, because it takes way too much chakra, because he can't use hand signs, because he doesn't have hair whirls to need his chakra. So it takes way too much chakra. Hence,
So
Jigen just
you're
has more chakra because he
Gonna
has hair.
misconstrue what it says. I just told you what it says. It says it's easier, not that it's necessary.
I don't think anyone heard you over me interrupting you, over
No,
you trying to interrupt me.
The whirls in your hair is what makes it easier to
Yeah, and
need chakra.
Ishiki doesn't
Like,
have
I don't-
hair.
I don't
Jigen
know
does.
What, wait, I don't know where you got like it's required. So your argument would presuppose
No, it's
that,
required to
Jigen-
help you, so that makes it
No,
significant.
it's no, that doesn't
Well-
justify what's
well-
significant. But either way, you made multiple points. So you'd be presupposing that Jigen already doesn't, or Ishiki already doesn't have this skill, since he was
Well-
inside of Jigen's body. So he would inherently have what Jigen has.
Also, Oodie, I will say, even if you're bald, like, let's just say I shave my head bald, there's still a rotation that my hair would grow in. So, while
Proof?
Ishiki may not necessarily know what his
Ishiki.
hair roll is, he could say, well, his horn is a wrapped loopy-doopy thing. He could say, oh, maybe that's the direction of my hair whirl, and try that one, and if it works, perfect. If it doesn't, he tries the other way. Boom, he knows which way to need his chakra. So he doesn't necessarily need to look
He
at his hair roll. He
also-
could just figure it out from trial and error.
Ishiki also does have hair. He has like the weird white hair on the top, like in the middle of his
They're like
horn, and he also has an
scales. I don't know
eyebrow where
how that is.
Jigen doesn't, and he has facial hair too.
That's definitely
On top of
not
that.
hair.
That's
I'm
like
looking him
scales.
up right now.
What is it then? What is it?
It
You
looks
can't
like
prove
scales.
that. You can't
Bald
prove that.
spot.
It
Let me
looks
find like this
Obi-
colored
I
image.
am looking
It looks like,
up
Hold
this
on.
it looks like
hair.
Obito's scales. If I had to pick something, it looks like Obito's scales, like
Yeah.
reptile scales. That's what it looks like anyway.
Does not have a hairy
Like,
texture.
he literally gets a chip. Naruto kicks him in the face and it like chips off.
Look at the
It's like-
colored. Look at the color, bro. It has like a hairy texture on
It's
it.
the
Like
same
look
color
at
of
the
his
colored image.
Byakugan, but I'm not gonna argue it's eye cells.
No, it's not the same color as Byakugan.
I have fan art pulled up right here. It is the same color.
Yeah, keyword fan art. Fan art.
It really
They're
doesn't
different
look like, I
colors.
don't know. I don't think it looks like hair. I mean,
It's
if you
also
look
a
at the anime,
different
at least-
color than his like skin. It's different color than his skin too.
I mean, I don't know what. I mean,
In the
then again,
anime
though,
as well.
at the same time, I will say though, it is one of his eyebrows, and eyebrows are normally hair. So I mean, like, it could be his hair.
At the very
It's
least,
also-
Yeah,
the
unless you
same
want to
thing as
argue that
goatee.
it's like an eye scale.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. It's weird how Naruto kicked off his hair. I don't know what to make of this, but
at the very least, you definitely can argue Jigen has way more hair. He has like a buzz cut. So automatically Jigen is stronger based on that.
well, Oodie though, but isn't hair dead? Dead cells?
They
Like,
didn't specify
hair-
alive cells, they just specified cells.
No, but like it's all the living cells in your. I don't think the
No,
dead
they
cells.
in fact they specify
are-
trillions of cells.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're referring to the dead cells as benefiting your chakra reserves. They're
13
dead.
trillion cells. So how many cells are in the human body? As you can see, it's
but-
13 trillion. All right, that's what it says there. That's what Google says. 13 trillion.
I don't think it really. I don't know that the dead cells. Well, see, the problem here is like if you take Hashirama, were his cells just alive all those years when people used them for experiments, Or did the dead cells contain the chakra and power? I don't know.
Well, let's keep in mind, dead cells do contain chakra and power because Obito was able to teleport from the afterlife and give Kakashi his chakra, as well as Hagoromo was able to do the same thing, as well as Edo Tensei. Edo Tensei used the dead cells of their dead host.
Well, actually, the host is kind of weird. In the case of Obito, like, it was his soul containing the chakra. There was no cells involved there. But in all these cases, it involves the soul. The only time it doesn't is the Hashirama or Hibai cell situations, where like people who Danzo got Hashirama's chakra, Madara had Hashirama's chakra. So the question is whether were the cells alive or dead when they acquired them. That's kind of what I would be looking at here.
Let's also remember, even if you want to argue this is hair, there's definitely no whirl going on. So he has no hair whirl, even if he has hair. Let's also remember, in the scan,
hair grows in a rotation. Like, there is a whirl, we can't see it because of his horn.
It's not rotating, it's just growing out. It's growing in a pattern,
he has an afro,
but not in a rotation.
He has an afro.
But also, let's keep in mind.
Hair's hair, man.
Hair. Jiraiya doesn't say a hair whirl. He says whirl of your hair. So you definitively need hair.
Wasn't just me.
It's not just bald and you have a hair whirl. It is you need a whirl of your hair, meaning you need hair. It's not just a hair whirl. It's whirl of your hair. So you do need the hair. But yeah. That's that. Also, Ishiki was a bad host. He was gonna die in like 3 days, and Jigen lived for thousands of years, as well. So,
actually, Oodie, I thought of something hilarious. Now Rock Lee can't use ninjutsu. Now how Rock Lee's bald and forced.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
Rock Lee was bald the whole time, and that's why he couldn't use ninjutsu.
Right. So he can't. He also doesn't have the chakra in order to need it in the first place. So this goes back to the hand signs as well.
Well, no, Rock Lee has chakra.
No, he has chakra. He just doesn't have enough in order to perform the jutsu without the hand signs.
That's never stated. He
exactly. He just doesn't have the chakra.
But no, he has chakra. He just doesn't know how to use it for ninjutsu.
No, Rock Lee's a genius. Mike Guy says this himself.
Okay, he's a genius of hard work and taijutsu, but he's not a genius of ninjutsu. He's particularly bad.
Actually, he's a genius of hard work, and you need hard work in order to perform ninjutsu. Ninjutsu is the combination of both physical energy.
It's not necessarily true.
Ninjutsu is both physical and mental energy, and he both had a mental resolve as well as the physical physique.
How to do a million jutsu,
so he definitely had the hard work geniusness in order to perform the ninjutsu. The only problem was his chakra quantity because he didn't have hair whirls and couldn't perform the hand signs. See, if he performed the hand signs, he could have performed like any jutsu.
Real quick, am I cut out or can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm taking full advantage of you cutting out.
Question.
We hear you, Komoy.
The whole thing in the first arc was that Boruto didn't work hard. Yeah, he knew how to do like a bazillion jutsu. So you clearly don't need to work hard to learn jutsu if you're talented enough.
Yeah, he was talented, but he wasn't a genius.
Boruto?
He was definitely considered a prodigy.
Who's calling him a genius, and why are they reliable? Compared to Mike Guy, Mike Guy was reliable.
Kakashi.
Yeah, can Kakashi use the 8 gates? So he's not reliable.
He can use gates. He can use like.
Yeah, but the 8th gate is the most genius.
Oodie, what Mike Guy was saying wasn't that other people weren't geniuses. He was just saying Rock Lee was wrong about himself. He actually is a genius, just in a different way. That's all Mike Guy was saying.
Yeah, genius of hard work, and ninjutsu requires hard work, as well as hand signs and hair whirls.
If that's all it was requiring, then Rock Lee would be the ninjutsu specialist.
Exactly, but because he doesn't perform the hand signs, he can't mold his chakra effectively, Kamui.
We see him try to use hand signs to do the clone jutsu, and he just failed. in Rock Lee flashbacks.
Then how did he
at least
pass
in
the
anime,
academy? He had to have. He had to have.
We don't know how he passed the academy.
Exactly. So
The
he
academy
can.
test might have
It just
been
takes a
different.
significant amount of his chakra.
Well, actually, Oodie, no. We don't know that he did that because Naruto did not do that. He did not perform the clone jutsu and pass the exam. He passed the exam a different way. So for all we
What
know,
do you
the
mean?
same-
He passed the exam because he's dude, you're that's so disingenuous.
passed the exam
Did you
because
not
he learned
watch
the
episode
shadow
1 of Naruto?
Yes, I did. Naruto did not perform the clone jutsu. He performed the shadow clone jutsu and defeated a tuning. That's why you're
if you want to get
He
into
did not.
specifics.
Naruto, actually, Naruto, I don't think in the
I
entire
mean,
series
if
ever
you,
uses
I don't reread part 1. I don't reread part 1 that often, but I'm pretty sure Naruto stole that scroll with like the forbidden jutsu in it, and the shadow clone jutsu is one of those jutsu, so it should just inherently be better than just the clone jutsu or
Well, it
whatever
is
you're
better.
talking
It
about.
is better. Naruto never
So
once
is
uses
it
the
not
regular clone
inherently
jutsu.
more impressive?
It is more impressive. My point, though, is that Naruto passed the exam without doing the regular clone jutsu. That's all I'm saying.
Let's remember we've
So
also
if Rock
seen
Lee just did something really cool, he could have passed.
we have seen Rock Lee's birth as a baby or whatever, and he did have hair then. So he had to go bald at some point in his life. I'm gonna say after the academy. So he could he was the genius of ninjutsu until he started balding when he became a Genin.
I'm
This
pretty sure they
argument
would have
is
made that a plot
insane.
point that Rock Lee forgot how to use the jutsu.
No, he didn't forget, he just started balding, and then that in combination with him stopping using hand signs means he didn't have the chakra required to spam
Oodie, give up on
Shinjutsu.
the hand signs. I know
Like
what you're trying to do.
Kaguya.
Just give up on it.
Kaguya didn't need hand signs, and she wasn't even a genius. She wasn't smart. She wasn't even a ninja. But you know why she could perform ninjutsu? Because she had enough chakra. So she didn't need the hand signs to effectively mold her chakra. And then you know what happened? She used like 6 jutsu and was basically out of chakra, despite having the entire world's worth of chakra.
Because her jutsu were that chakra draining has nothing to do with the hand signs.
Yeah, I don't
In
think
fact,
anyone's saying
you could-
Kaguya is a talented
we know-
ninja.
For all we know, she was using Shinjutsu anyway, not ninjutsu, and that it's being a retcon.
The
Like,
data books say
because
it's
Kishimoto-
ninjutsu. But also,
Kishimoto-
Kaguya has
That's what I'm
very
saying.
clearly
Kishimoto did not
defined
create
hair
ninjutsu-
whirls.
Shinjutsu, yeah.
Look at how
Okay.
long Kaguya's hair is. No wonder she's strong.
That has nothing to do with it.
What do you mean?
But
She
She's
literally uses her
weaker.
hair
She's
to
weaker than
retire.
Ishiki with no hair. She's weaker than Ishiki with no hair.
Agreed.
Who is there? Are there any like just regularly bald characters in Naruto? Like curiosity, does everyone have hair? I feel like there's gotta be someone, anime only or not. There's gotta be somebody.
There's definitely some filler characters.
Black Zetsu doesn't have any hair if you want to count that. Because White Zetsu has hair, but Black doesn't.
And you know what? Zetsu was never known to be very strong.
I have a
Exactly.
panel for you. Let me get the panel. I
I
have a
knew you
panel
were
for
gonna
you.
pull something. Now I'm worried.
Bald characters in Naruto.
I have some crazy scaling for Black Zetsu
Okay,
myself,
yeah.
by the way.
There's some. Oh, actually, the Mizukage's assistant is bald. Now, I don't think he got that position without having chakra.
What about Mu? Mu has
He
anywhere
could have gotten.
between
He
nowhere
could
to
have.
the
He could have
horse.
gotten the
To have
position
hair.
when he had hair and then shaved.
Mu has bandages over his head, so for all we know, he actually has hair underneath, but he doesn't look bald. There's also a cloud ninja who is bald. There's a filler character who actually defeats Gaara in a filler arc who's bald. Abiki's bald, and he can use jutsu. Oh, there you go. We know for a fact Abiki's bald, and we see him use jutsu in the pain arc.
What's the Kage with the snake tattoo? You said the second
Yeah.
Mizukage's assistant?
The first Mizukage's assistant.
So the second Mizukage, maybe.
No, it's the first Mizukage.
I thought it was
It's
the sand
first...
ninja. You're right, because it's the stupid guy with the, not the bubbles, but the freaking clam.
Yeah, actually, is that guy bald too?
No, he's not. He is very clear
But anyway,
locks.
the thing though, oh, there's also Chiriku, the monk dude who kind of sort of beats up Hidan but then loses anyway.
Cannot find this guy.
Oh, Shin Uchiha also is bald. Very clearly used Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan jutsu. Yeah, so
There's
bald
clones out
is
here,
also
though,
funny.
so-
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more filler characters who are bald. So, oh, also the osteopath of pain is bald. So you can be bald and use jutsu.
Yeah, and how? Okay, he used a missile. That's not a jutsu.
I mean, it's a path of pain ability. It's some type of jutsu.
Listen, all I know is this guy with the snake head tattoo. The only reason he got this is because he knew he wasn't that strong, so he tried to intimidate people because he was bald. So he was like, all right, you know what? I'm making up for my baldness with this snake tattoo.
Oodie, you can say whatever you want there. The fact of the matter, though, is we see Ibiki post baldness use jutsu.
Okay, he can
you
use
can-
no, but he's a special Joni. He specializes in the interrogation tactic, so he doesn't count because he's weak.
It doesn't
as well.
matter. He uses a ninjutsu.
He has enough
against
chakra.
a path.
That's fine. He's a special Jonin as well.
According
He has
to
enough
you,
chakra.
You can't have chakra without hair rolls or whatever.
No. I said it requires to help, so it doesn't count.
Okay, but so wait, what is your overall stupid point here?
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Jigen has more hair than Ishiki, so therefore
right.
Jigen is
Well,
stronger.
You need to prove that dead cells, will add to his chakra pool, like by growing more hair. Because I'm pretty sure hair is considered dead cells.
Oh, I think Trippy
Maybe
can
that's
agree with
not
me
actually-
here on this because I already looked it up on stream. I showed the 13 trillion cells thing from Google from the scan of Naruto.
So, what is that? That doesn't matter. Yeah, there's trillions of cells in the human body. That doesn't specify. So, frankly, hair is not in the human body. It's outside of the human body. So, for all we know, Sakura is only referring to the cells in the body.
It says that are believed to make up the human body, and hair is believed to make up the human body. I believe it right
No,
now.
it's not. Nobody believes that
I
hair
do.
makes up the human body.
All I need is one person because that would make it to be believed, and I
Okay,
believe it.
Hair is not. Is hair considered part of the body,
Yes.
or is
In
it
fact, it
just an
says-
extension?
I'll just read out the quote. So, those of the body drawn from each and every one of the approximately 13 trillion cells that are believed to make up the human body. There you go. So, yeah.
I mean, I want definitive proof that dead cells contribute to your chakra pool.
I've already showed it through Edo Tensei, as well as Hagoromo, as well as Obito.
But the problem with that, though, is that they're not. It's so in the Edo Tensei case, the dead cells of the one they're trying to revive is not what's giving them chakra, because actually their cells aren't really. It's paper dust shit that's floating around the sacrificial body. So like the cells in this case is really the sacrificed body, and what they're doing is summoning their souls to take over that body, more or less.
The paper's more of
No,
a sealing thing. It only appears like when they
the
get
paper's
sealed.
literally what makes up their body, dude. You
Yeah,
literally see the
it's what
paper.
makes them look like the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so it
their
changes
souls
their
are
appearance.
there. The souls are summoned. Like the technique summons the
Yes.
souls from the dead.
Yeah, so
Now,
their body isn't
spiritual
revived, just their
energy-
soul. Their soul's revived
Oh,
into a
actually,
dead
there's-
person.
Oh, actually, Oodie, no. Here's the problem here. I don't think dead cells can count, at least in this case, because spiritual energy is required to make chakra. Like spiritual, mental energy, like these are things related to the spirit, as you may guess. The dead cells of Hashirama's like fingers, when Hashirama's soul is in the Reaper Death Seal, like, or the Pure Land or whatever, like his soul isn't in his fingernail. Like that's just DNA that helps them summon, that helps Kabuto summon the soul, or Orochimaru summon the soul. But like his soul isn't literally there until it's summoned. So, well, I don't know that it does have chakra. I don't know. In the case of Edo Tensei, though, like the DNA is just what helps them summon the soul from the Pure Land, and then it takes over the host body, more or less. That's
In
how the
fact, I'm
jutsu
going to argue dead cells add way more chakra than living cells, based on the fact that Edo Tensei have limitless chakra. They have unlimited chakra because all of their cells are dead. And that just produces way more chakra.
You know, actually, that is a great question of how they have limitless chakra to begin with.
Exactly. There you go.
How does that work? It's not because of dead cells, because the dead cells aren't there. It's just paper.
All I know is that based on everything in this scan, Rock Lee has mental energy. He has spiritual energy. He has acquired this through much training and experience. He has 13 trillion cells approximately, and he has all of the energies required to perform ninjutsu.
Google says that you have more than 13 trillion cells. You have 30 million approximately. Or 30 trillion. Or
So
whatever.
maybe the other 17 trillion cells are hair cells that are dead and not part of the human body.
No, that just makes my point even greater, because then, okay, look at Jiraiya. He has like 17 trillion cells in his hair. Look at how much hair he has, and then he was able to defeat Urashiki. In fact, that's a perfect segue to Urashiki.
Okay.
So Jiraiya, only reason Jiraiya was strong enough, because he doesn't scale up that high, but he was able to defeat celestial gods because of his hair as well as his hair whirls. He literally used his hair in his attacks as well, just like Kaguya.
Oodie, I got a bigger problem for you. Might Guy has shorter hair than Alive Madara pre-10 Tails did, and I think we can agree that 8 Gates Might Guy, who has shorter hair than that Madara, would defeat Madara based on how he did against 10 Tails Madara. So I don't think you're automatically stronger just because your hair is longer.
I have evidence against that.
We also...
Might Guy in the 8 Gates was warping space-time. This means any time Might Guy moved, we didn't see it, but he was elongating space, aka his hair was longer.
What?
It wasn't.
Jubi Madara literally couldn't move out of the way because he was bending space. So the space around his hair was bending, and his hair was bending longer.
When Might Guy was just standing there in the 8th gate, he was still stronger than before, but his hair didn't change. He wasn't bending space yet, he was just standing there.
Also, I don't know why you're saying this as if Might Guy wasn't blatantly weaker than Jubi Madara in general.
I'm not referring to Jubi Madara. I'm saying that Might Guy, when he entered the 8th gate and was standing still, was stronger than he was before, and his hair remained the same length. And I'm saying that Might Guy was stronger than...
It was warping it for the camera. We just didn't see it. Because the camera lens was warped.
I'm also saying that Might Guy was stronger than not Jubi Madara. We already know Jubi Madara won. I'm saying if Madara didn't have the 10 tails, that he would have died.
And you know what? If Might Guy grew his hair out, then he probably would have beat Madara. It's really that simple.
Fuck, dude, I got bit by a mosquito. This bite is huge. No, this is so. Alright, let's just talk about Urashiki.
Alright, Urashiki.
Let's go, my guy.
The celestial god defeated by Jiraiya because of his long hair. Alright, so
I'm almost Slayer.
Diego's Bloodspray. I know you made a whole video on. In fact, that's the way I found your channel. By the way, going back to the intro here, shout out to Diego's Bloodspray. Let's talk on your content really quick, because you've made a few Naruto videos. The Urashiki one, the one with Jigen, or riding a villain. I forget the name of it exactly, but it was a really good video as well.
Making
and then you have a few other videos somewhat Naruto related, like Marvel Zombies. That's not very Naruto related, but it was a great video.
Naruto related Marvel.
Yeah, but I see Spider-Man, all I see is Naruto.
But feel free to shout out your favorite videos or whatever, your process of video making, and then segue it to the Urashiki thing after.
YouTube has always been a part of my life ever since I was a kid. I would always just watch YouTube all the time. And I never really had it set in stone that I was going to make videos one day, but I just sort of tried it. I started making videos about fighting games, which are my favorite game genre, so it was sort of easy to talk about them. And then I was like, what if I just put out a video that's not about a fighting game? And then I put out, I don't remember what it is, but I think it was probably an anime video. And I was like, let me do it again. And then let me do it again. And then eventually I just started, it's kind of based on phases I go through a little bit. I sort of got distant away from Naruto stuff for a little bit, and I got back into Naruto debating, and then I made a video about why I think a lot of the arguments people use for like Prime Hiruzen and stuff like that are bad. But that video is bad now, so don't watch it.
Oh,
Oh, don't worry, I already proved Hiruzen doesn't
because
exist.
I am all
earlier,
for the
but-
Prime Hiruzen slander. I want to hear it.
I'm neutral. Someone showed me some arguments now that make it sort of a little more concrete, but I still like, you can only really prove that it's base Hashirama and not like Sage Hashirama.
Dude, here is
You know what I
Prime
mean?
Hiruzen.
Yeah.
It's a myth. Okay, he's not that dude. Look at this guy. He's the
Prime
fucking
Hiruzen's a
professor, dude.
myth.
Yeah, when I think of the college professor, yeah, sure, I think of like a professional athlete, professional MMA fighter, do I not? Yeah, professor. Sounds like a nerd.
I mean, a lot of the Hiruzen scaling in general is like a myth. He gets carried by like statements like, "Oh, he's surpassed his predecessors" and stuff like that.
But you know, like on
his
a serious
best
note,
statement.
like on a serious note about those statements, it's like Kishimoto, like this is the honest truth. I don't think Kishimoto decided who the strongest Hokage was, because at one point it was Minato, at another point it was Hiruzen, and then it was very blatantly obviously Hashirama by the end. It's just like people really want to hold on to those statements, but it's like honestly it is basically a retcon, because the dude changed his mind. Okay, the same applies to Minato. He was originally like the big guy, the dude, the savior of the world, basically. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's poo-poo compared to Hashirama. It's just like Kishimoto decided by the end Hashirama was the guy.
Expanding
then,
on that.
Kept
That's
changing his mind. That's just the honest
That's
truth.
why I sort of made the video, because I was like, people keep mentioning these statements like they aren't like really flimsy and baseless most of the time, and they just get contradicted by someone else being described as the strongest, like, I don't know, maybe a data book later or a page later. And that's
No, I
kind of
think the
like,
reason
that's
why they
my
hold it-
process.
I think the reason why they hold on to it is I don't think it ever says Hashirama's the strongest Hokage. They just make it blatantly obvious that he is instead. But
That has to
yeah,
be
it's-
stated somewhere. There's no way. That has to be.
Yep.
I'll have to look for that, but I'm pretty sure that is stated.
you know, at the very least, I don't remember all the.
I mean, you
Minato thing.
could
I know
you
that.
could pull up
I know
the
Naruto considered Minato to be like the greatest Hokage. I don't know what else there is for that one, but I just know it's at least implied for each of them at different points. There's also like, freaking when the Edo Tensei first and second Hokage versus Hiruzen were revived, one of the Amu guys says that those two were the greatest shinobi in Konoha history, or something very close to that. It's like even then it was being contradicted.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Technically, people like to debate Tobi Rama was the strongest at sometimes, but it's like not a great debate. So then you have Hashirama was the strongest, Tobi Rama was strongest, Hiruzen was the strongest. We're gonna skip over Tsunade, but then obviously Minato
Nah,
was the
Tsunade's.
strongest.
I'm a Tsunade goon. I'm a Tsunade goon. She's the strongest. She's the
Alright,
strongest.
Tsunade's the strongest, and you got obviously Minato, and then you got
maybe
Kakashi
too.
was
Or-
undoubtedly the strongest when he was Hokage before Naruto, and then
Like, yeah,
Naruto became
Kakashi, we
Kage,
could
and then he was the
argue
new strongest.
was. Tsunade is like the only one who is just blatantly like she's not the strongest Hokage at any point, because she was always in Hashirama's
No.
She was though. She was always in Hashirama's shadow. That was made very evident during the Madara versus 5 Kage fight. So it's like we know for a fact she wasn't at any point. But the same is true for Tobi Rama. It's like there's that one statement about the two of them being the strongest, but he was very blatantly always in Hashirama's shadow. So it's like, Tobi Rama wasn't either.
To be fair, Tsunade did do more damage to Madara than Hashirama ever did.
I'm saying, bro. I'm saying. Tsunade body slams the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go look at that
one.
crazy war
I think
skill.
Kay alone got her in the back.
Gonna say, why didn't she kill Pain then?
She was like, it was Naruto's like job.
Not a great segue, but Urashiki, everybody,
Oh, yeah.
Urashiki. All right, Urashiki. Let's get to Urashiki. Okay. So about Urashiki. So I know you made a video on Urashiki. Did you want to talk on that at all?
Yeah, I was gonna say, my process for making videos is, if it's if it's something original, then I'll make it. Or if it's not something original, but it's something I feel like I have something to add to, then I'll make it. And I feel like there are plenty of Urashiki videos on the platform, I'm sure, but I felt like no one was really going over just how insane he really is. Like he's potentially stronger than Fuse Momo, but like definitely stronger than Base Momo. And I think people don't really give him the credit that he deserves. And that's why I was like, I need to make this video. Like I was in a server too at the time where people were saying that Urashiki would like lose to Hidan and so like that. I was like, nah, no. Absolutely
So,
not.
I mean, I watched this video right before the stream. I was at the gym, and I was like, honestly, like I do agree with the whole thing. The problem with Urashiki is just it was really bad writing in the arc, and it's because the Urashiki is like the ultimate example of the guy who is strong enough to defeat everyone, but just insists on not trying to the point that he loses. Like, it's just like, why did they do that to that extreme with him?
He's kind of like
one
Chalk. He's kind of like Kaguya, where he just wants like to steal their chakra, and he finds it funny that they're like really upset that they can't beat him or whatever, as opposed to just killing
want
them.
to try. It's just like he insists on not trying and not winning.
He's a lot like Obito towards the end when he's talking to Naruto too, where he's trying to convince himself like that he's a bad guy when he, you know what I mean, but he can't really go through the whole thing, and then he winds up getting talk jutsu'd out of the whole, like Obito, where Urashiki's he's just toys with people in the same regard, like you said, but he's got the power to do it, but just thinks he's better than everyone else.
Yeah,
he is.
Like
he
for
is.
me,
He is.
the most annoying thing for me, at least, is that so before the time travel arc, when they're in the Sand Village, they have Urashiki in base just as Byakugan. So no Rinnegan, no nothing. He is laughing his ass off, not trying. There's Amaterasu everywhere. Sasuke's got like his Rinnegan out, everything's out. Gaara's there. Gaara looks incredibly distraught, scared, and even Shukaku comes in. The whole time, Urashiki's just got some puppets. He's goofing off, not even trying, doing just. And then later on, you have Urashiki introducing his abilities. His red Rinnegan, Tomboy, where he uses Yamatsu Hirasaka, the space-time jutsu. Then he's got the blue one, where he does the timey-wimey thing. And he's increasingly using more abilities against weaker opponents. Then he ultimately enters a new form and loses against objectively a weaker team than the team he was goofing off, not trying against earlier. It's just like, bruh. like the fact of the matter is,
Yeah, but it's
condition before, and Kage Gaara is objectively stronger than Base Jiraiya, Naruto, and Boruto. He just is. And Shukaku in the mix too. It's just like, are we meant to believe that Toneri's puppets are just what carried him? Like, is that what it was? Like, not to mention though, he's not really trying against Gaara and Chojuro either. It's just like he does better against stronger opponents than he does in the end, and that's why I love the time travel arc, but I also absolutely hate it because of it.
It's really blatant too how he just like holds back and he's like joking around on people. So I don't know where the narrative that like, oh, he's going full power and he can't even stop like getting Naruto came from. It's like this dude is like performing better against the Kage than base Momo after he absorbs Naruto's chakra for hours. He's chakra amped from Naruto and he still like gets, he gets tagged by like fatigue Sasuke. And the Kage have him like sweating. He's like, I need to fuse with Kinshiki now. And like, Momo is just better than him casually.
His chakra was drained mostly. I mean, Urashiki also drained Sasuke's chakra, but like, before then, he's literally doing better. Like, it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's just so upsetting that they did what they did. I really wish that we just got the actual original thing Kishimoto was going to do in the movie. Instead of...
He also one-shots Toneri on the moon, too.
Yeah.
He also one-shotted Toneri on the moon. He one-shotted him.
Freaking, yeah, why didn't he do the time seal on everyone, huh?
I still feel like he might be a vessel. Somebody else said this somewhere else. Like, Toneri might be his actual vessel. for Urashiki to come back, because there's no way he doesn't come back in my eyes. It's
Oh
just
my god, dude! I
based
hope
on the
they
folklore
don't.
alone. Like if you go back to the folklore, it says in his story is how he's a fisherman, and based on Urashiki Taro, where he's a fisherman, and he goes saves a turtle, and then he's rewarded by a princess by given a jewelry box, and he's told never to open the box, and he spends all his time with this princess, and he starts to miss his family, and he tries to go back to his own world, and when he does so, he actually goes 300 years in the future, and then he gets confused, and he opens the box for some reason. When he does so, he's turned into an old man. So my whole thing is I still feel like there's a chance that he's either Bug or maybe even a Mato. Recently, I started thinking
the
about
funniest one, dude. I actually would love it if it was Bug.
I've thought for a long time that it might be Amato, but like the characters. I mean, while Amato's sneaky, he's super intelligent. But it's also, I feel like Urashiki might be playing like Toby back in the day, where he was just acting like an idiot in front of Momo, because he never really shows himself do anything in front of Momoshiki or any of them. And I can't get over the panel when he first introduced, like you first see them up in Kaguya's palace, and he says something to Momoshiki, and he's just acting like an asswad, and he's just undermining him also. And like he looks back at him, he gives him that Momoshiki looks back at him, and his eyes light up, and he's just kind of like, "Oh, calm down, senpai." Like we still don't know who his partner is. Like there's just so many things that just were never really touched on that should have been. His blue eyes,
Yeah, and speaking of that scene, so the thing about Urashiki is he blatantly was doing a Toby act, at least in front of Momoshiki, because you literally just listen to the sound of his voice. He does the goofy Toby to Madara voice thing when he's like, hey, Momoshiki, long time no see. Oh, you don't want to talk. And then Momoshiki goes away, and he just gets the voice. He's like, oh, you're as unsociable as ever. Then when Momoshiki dies, he's just like, oh, this is interesting. He's not in his goofy, high-pitched voice. It's like a serious, normal voice. Like, he is blatantly doing goofy acts at different times. Now, he is a goofy character at heart, too. Like, I do think he is, like, a goofy guy. But, like, part of it is him purposefully doing that. And so the thing is, it's like, I actually love Urashiki. All I want is for him to be redeemed. Like, I want him to come back. I'm still going to be pissed with the time travel arc, no matter how you slice it. But, like, if they bring him back, that's going to fill my heart, fill the void. I just don't know whether they really will. The thing is, like I said, I wish I knew what Kishimoto's original plan was, because he is writing the story now. He has the potential to actually cash in on that if he wants to. It's a matter of whether he wants to.
He also calls Momoshiki senpai the same way that Obito calls Deidara senpai. But
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any way that they could bring Urashiki back, at least in the anime. I would love that though, especially because like I like Kaguya, I like Ishiki. I don't like Momo. I obviously don't like Kinshiki either, because no one likes Kinshiki. Toneri is okay. But I think that Urashiki was like really refreshing for what he was compared to the other Otsutsuki.
Urashiki was the most unique Otsutsuki. Like, at its core, in personality, in ability, like everything about him actually kind of was the most unique. Everyone else is described as like a powerhouse, whereas Urashiki is just a wacky, sneaky dude. He is the most unique. It's the most refreshing.
I mostly try to get across to people that Urashiki is stronger than Momo. Like, there's no way around that. But his abilities are also just insane. Like stealing the chakra, and then he gets like the abilities and stuff, and the future sight. Like, no other Otsutsuki really has abilities like that cracked, to be honest.
Well, not only that, why did he have to store up all that chakra too? And as far as like him coming back, there's so many ways he could have come back. Like, for instance, during the war arc, the Sand Ninja, he split himself in two, and then they had to seal both halves. There's also before he transforms, if you remember Urashiki, he goes through a portal. So like when I saw that, I thought of Mu and him splitting. The other thing is when he fought in the past against Naruto, he didn't understand how Uzumaki seals worked. So I think somehow he might have figured out in the past. Like, there's a panel I saw. I put it up on one of the chats where it looks just like Eida's Senrigan ability.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like just before he dies in the anime, I went panel by panel. The last panel looks just like it. I put it up on one of the things, I forget, but he could have erased everyone's memory to make it think that he was dead in the past, and then came back later. But I remember what to say. When he's on the moon with Teneri, if you look at his Teneri's back, he's got the same Senrigan symbol that Eida has. All the puppets that he used all had the same symbol that Eida has, the Senrigan, on the thing, which he used to watch everything around, like Urashiki used, but those were Teneri's puppets.
Actually, that's actually a cool thing to think about in that sense, at least. I never really paid attention to the puppet aspect, but actually, that is kind of like the Senrigan in a way, but watching through the puppet's eyes, but it's also like pain puppets, so, but either way. What I will say, though, is I know Urashiki is quote-unquote shown dying in the anime, but at the same time, that scene is like literally like frame for frame, like the same as when Momoshiki was dying. And the only difference is we just saw very soon afterwards that Momoshiki didn't die. They could just, if we just didn't take the movie, okay, in the movie it looks the exact same way. We just find out later on that he didn't actually die. But they could, technically speaking, just have Urashiki pull a fast one and just not reveal it for a long ass time. Like, that is entirely possible.
Well, they've done that with so many characters. Madara.
I'll use Ishiki as another example where he could have technically pulled a fast one. There are some things that might indicate he's alive. Maybe he's not actually, but it's possible until it's really confirmed. Like, I mean, it's just, the problem with Urashiki is it pisses me off that not a single character even brings up his name in the manga. It's like they act like he doesn't exist, and I don't know why they do this.
Well, maybe that's
he was gonna be in the movie, but they just scrapped him because of time
No, I wish we
constraints.
saw him in the
gonna
movie
be.
now because I want to know what he was actually. He was supposed to be the bigger bad character, actually. I wish we actually saw what the plan was. I don't think Kishimoto was doing the time travel arc for it. I think he had something else in mind.
They said it was two stories that are supposed to meet in the middle. So is it two different timelines where he's erased in one timeline? And he's forgotten the same way that, like, the Senrigan has made everyone forget about Boruto/Kawaki. Because they said it's been used before. And his whole powers are all based off of time. Urashiki, like, his purple Rinnegan, like, we haven't, blue Rinnegan, I mean, that we haven't really seen enough about.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, this is why I'm Urashiki and the Jogan fall into the same camp for this, where I wish they just didn't do all the shit they did and just left it more ambiguous. So that way it's just like, not only do we have the weirdness now, but like we would have easy room to incorporate in a manga. They should have just literally just had Urashiki say, "Oh, things are interesting now," and just left them open-ended. Just don't even do the sand arc or the time travel arc. Just don't do it. Or if you're gonna do it, just don't involve Urashiki. Involve someone else.
Has got a weird connection with him and Jiraiya as well. Like, that's what made me think about Amato's connection to Urashiki, is the fact that he has stuff that people shouldn't have, which is Jiraiya's cells. And how did he get access to that? And who's really good at scouting and knowing where everything was Urashiki. He knew about stuff that none of them, Momoshiki knew.
My only problem with the Urashiki Amato thing is mainly the fact that Amato is so smart. And, like, Urashiki isn't actually dumb, but he's, like, not Amato-like in personality. Like, even his serious form isn't like Amato. It does feel just very different.
But he did have a ton of knowledge and everything.
The thing is, I guess a Bug could be like a troll. Amato doesn't feel like a troll. It's more like that would be the real Urashiki. I don't know.
And there's a connection between Bug and Amato, too. Like, he could be pulling strings like Madara was with Obito in the background, and Amato could be his basic avatar. Where, because, like, I don't understand how other Otsutsuki can see other Otsutsuki with their kamas and stuff. So that's what always makes me wonder with Uzumaki. And maybe he somehow learned Uzumaki seals in the past, to just throw off other Otsutsuki from even knowing he's there. And why they would disappear from the continuity and never really have anything about them is because they were so dangerous, the SEALs. Maybe he was the reason why they're all gone in the first place, because it'd be problematic for him in the future.
Speaking of the karma, I don't know if they can see each other. I know that Jigen was keeping a close eye on Naruto and Sasuke post the Momoshiki fight, as if they were watching that to see who got Momoshiki's karma. And they were kind of surprised when it wasn't Sasuke, but in fact it was Boruto. But I will say, they do have karmic resonation. That's one way they can track each other. As well as they can just, because they're Otsutsuki, they can just sense each other. Like, not even through their chakra signature, because Kawaki hides his chakra signature, and then Boruto still tracks him down simply through the karma. Just an Otsutsuki ability.
It's not to lose him after a certain distance, though.
I don't know that there's Boruto and Kawaki are sensing each other because of Otsutsuki-ness. It might just be because of karma. The only reason I'm saying that is Momoshiki, Kaguya, Urashiki, literally everyone else that isn't Jigen, seemingly has no idea that Ishiki is just there on Earth. He doesn't raise an alarm bell to anyone. He's technically been there the entire time. I feel like they're just not sensing this dude. Like,
I could be wrong about this, but I can't remember if Kawaki still has any Otsutsuki in him at this point. But it's when Eida and Daemon come to Konoha, and Momoshiki is like talking to Boruto, and Kawaki can sense him. So if he's partially Otsutsuki, then yeah, they should be able to sense each other even in the karma.
I was say, actually though, Kawaki didn't fully have his karma back when Boruto sensed him, so maybe it is the Otsutsuki-ness. I don't know, dude. It's kind of weird.
He hadn't awakened it yet, but he still had it. Amino implanted it when he got his arm changed out at the beginning of the code art.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's really just like a resonance karma thing. The reason why Jigen sensed Kawaki is because he had the karma seal. So I don't know if it's necessarily Otsutsuki-ness. Just because we don't really see like them just sense each other. We only see it with the karma vessels sensing each other. So I don't know. It might really just be karma related, which is still interesting, but it might just be a resonance thing. Plus, as far as Boruto and Kawaki sensing each other.
Kawaki should still be Otsutsuki because just like Boruto's Otsutsuki, even though he's not gaining more
he was
percent Otsutsuki. Yeah, it's like that percent can't go away. He'll always be Ishiki's vessel.
Momoshiki literally explained that to Kawaki, that he was still Otsutsuki. So he was.
We're talking about as far as Ishiki still being alive, the whole thing with the Kama rod still being in the 10 tails, like that's a pretty good tip that he should still be alive. Because when
I mean, in fairness, like the argument against that is that he summons the rods, so if they're not his own rods that he manifested, they could just remain. Like hypothetically, let's just say he used Momoshiki's rods. I know he didn't actually, but let's pretend. Like if Ishiki dies, the rods will probably still remain as long as Momoshiki's alive in that case. So I get that argument. For me, one of the things that I look at is the fact that they keep showing us like 50 times that Ishiki's panel is still black. He's the only Otsutsuki whose panel has ever turned black on that panel stage thing. And he was the only one who was alive, like normally alive, at any point before then. That's kind of the main thing I look at, is just why do they keep showing that his tablet's black? Like, they're showing it for a reason. Like, they're trying to make it look, at the very least, regardless of what it actually means. They want us to see.
And do you think that there could be an actual, like, 3-person where it's actually Momoshiki, Ishiki, and Urashiki's vessels, with being Boruto, Kawaki, and Code?
Oh, you said for Code is Urashiki.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the only this is the thing that runs into an issue for Code anyway, is the fact that like, all right, so no Otsutsuki we've actually seen has claw marks. So, like, they're not coming from Urashiki, or else we would have seen him jokingly at least use them at some point, most likely.
But he's stolen so many things from people. That's the thing. That's what makes me, it goes back to it, is he's the type of person that could find all these things and use them in the future. The eyes of, sorry, go ahead.
The thing, though, with Urashiki's ability, though, is it's not like he steals it and obtains it forever. It's very similar to Momoshiki's in the sense that it's like a one-time use, at least based off observation. he uses it and then it's gone. Like, he can't permanently steal it, as far as we've seen. It's not like when
Just his
Kabuto
power, but
took people's DNA and permanently kept them. It was more like I'm stealing this and I'm going to use it and get rid of it kind of thing.
no, not just his, I'm not talking just about his face, but his character in general is the type of person that he goes around and fishes these things up, and it's kind of fits with it as well. Like he could have, he's the type of person that could have the ability to find Shibai's body. He like and hold on to these things and use them.
If it was just on the moon or some shit, then yeah, definitely.
I think it's fair to say those stone tablets haven't been updated in like thousands of years. I was kind of getting into this last week, but because Kaguya has her Rinne Sharingan, and then Ishiki obviously is still alive. Momoshiki's in his base, Kinshiki's in his base. So I think it was just updated like last before Kaguya betrayed him.
Yeah, they were updated at some unknown point, but they were not updated again after Momoshiki fused, obviously. Otherwise, they would have just shown that Momoshiki. Yeah, they definitely weren't recently updated at the very least. Like, recent post-Momoshiki arc updated. It was updated at the latest right before that arc.
The top stone tablet in the manga looks like Urashiki. Like, the one in the anime did not look like anything. Like, it was way more smashed in the anime.
Yeah, the one in the anime completely covers it, smashes it up. In the manga, you see, like, a tiny portion. Yeah, the main thing you can see is the Rinnegan symbol. Like, we do know that it had that.
And
outside
the
of
horn,
that,
too.
you can't really tell. The horn,
you can see the top right horn of it, too. Like, the top right part of that smashed thing looks like Urashiki's horn.
I don't know. See, I've always actually had a problem with that, because Urashiki doesn't really have, like, a horn.
It grows over the front.
I've heard a theory that the broken stone tablets are actually Boruto and Kawaki, and it could be like a timey-wimey thing where it's like a future thing as well. And that's kind of crazy. What's your idea on that theory?
I mean,
yeah,
I'm a fan of any theory. I think they're all cool if they could work.
I love to see it. I think this is especially interesting considering Momoshiki and Ishiki both have like weird karmas now. Well, besides like the white karma, but like Boruto stopped his karma resonation, and then Kawaki kind of did the same thing, and they're the only two, as far as we know, that have been able to do that. So that could also be why it's broken. Again, it'd be like a future thing. You could also argue this isn't even Ishiki's karma. Like, even though Kawaki has Ishiki's ability, it's just because he got some percent Otsutsuki, so he can use his percent Otsutsuki, which just so happened to be Ishiki. I like the better theory that this is actually Amado's daughter's karma, because it kind of has to be. First of all, how did Amado implant a karma in the first place? That's a whole nother topic we could dive down, because it's a Shinjutsu and it takes a lot of energy, as noted by Amado when he's describing how Ishiki could not place a karma on Jigen, but instead had to shrink inside his ear when he was cut in half. He couldn't place a karma on Jigen, not because Jigen wasn't a vessel, considering he did that later, but because it takes a lot of energy. So how did Amado even implant a karma, knowing first of all it's a Shinjutsu, but then second of all that requires a lot of energy, and then third of all, whose karma did he implant? Did he implant the Amado karma to where now Kawaki is going to turn into Amado at the end? I mean, I know it was described as like a weapon, just like the white karma, but it's not the white karma, it's black, first of all, and then second of all, that doesn't make sense. So there's a whole lot of jumbled mess of spaghetti here. What do you all think?
I personally prefer the idea that it was really like a heavy karma seal of some sort, and that Amado just Kawaki to implant a karma in another body so that Kawaki doesn't die, because he will otherwise. Like, I prefer it. Makes actually more sense with that plan. I prefer it. The only problem though is that, like you said, first of all, how would Amado even do that? He is not a Kebi himself.
He does have a Kebi's DNA, hence how he was able to make Delta.
Second of all, though, the thing is, Amado would have just done that to begin with. The problem is that Amado makes it, at least he could just be lying, but what he's saying anyway is that he could only do this because Kawaki once had a karma seal and he was reconstructing it, which might still be true. But the thing is, he just makes it sound like he really just he reconstructed the karma seal and tossed in a Now, tossing in a Kebi's data.
As far as the white karma, I think that that's where the Uzumaki stuff might come into play. Because it's just, they don't understand how it works. It might be somehow that they might have sealed the karma so it looks like a dud. Like, because clearly Momoshiki doesn't understand anything about it. He just thinks it's a fake.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that this is not a thing that just happens. Like, Momoshiki's never seen this before.
Like I said, he never understood when he was fighting against Sasuke and Jiraiya. The seals, like, messed with him. He couldn't, like, pull away chakra from him, and he had to change his whole game plan around. So clearly other Otsutsuki don't understand the Uzumaki seals. Like, I feel like Urashiki as a character might be a double agent. Like, he might be, because he doesn't like his stature where he said he's a scout and he's obviously can't eat the chakra foods. I feel like it might be him taking over his own destiny and saying, forget this, I'm going to take all this stuff. And it doesn't make any sense why Ishiki didn't, like, report back into the elders if Kaguya betrayed him and he was still alive.
At this point, what's our track record for loyal Otsutsuki? So we have Hagoromo Otsutsuki betrayed them, Toneri Otsutsuki betrayed them, Indra and Ashra Otsutsuki technically betrayed them.
Right?
Okay, but we got Kaguya, she backstabbed Ishiki, Ishiki wants the chakra fruit, Momoshiki wants the chakra fruit. Who else is there? Okay, there's Urashiki, you can argue he's the double agent because he's calling Momoshiki senpai and stuff, but he also says, because of the clan, he can't kill Toneri. So you could argue he is loyal. Same with Kinshiki, as you said.
Yeah.
Are those the only two
Kinshiki is
Otsutsuki
definitely
that are
the most
loyal?
He's the one who was founding all the clan, like, rules and shit, so that dude was fucking, like, at the very least.
We have no idea about Shibai either, so he could also just be betrayed. So we're like 2 for like 10? Loyal Otsutsuki?
Exactly, like... But, like, if Momoshiki's the only one that is supposed to be getting, like, besides, is supposed to be getting the stuff that, he, in his eyes, he's like, it's almost he's portrayed as a prince, like...
Yeah, Momoshiki had a royalty-ish. At the very least, he had the vibe of royalty.
To be
And
fair,
I feel like...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
the Otsutsuki is like a clan, and technically the Akatsuki were a clan in a sense. But anyways, just like the Akatsuki, the Otsutsuki seem to like betray each other or whatever. They go rogue. But like, look at all the Akatsuki that went rogue. You got Konan, Pain. Technically, you want to say Nagato or whatever. Kisame was really loyal, but Itachi was a double agent. I feel like Obito never really cared about the Akatsuki, but rather the end goal, which is Madara, and then Madara didn't really ever care about the Akatsuki either in that same sense. You had who else is there? Kakuzu, he only cared about money. Hidan, he only cared about his religion, so they never cared. Orochimaru literally left. Deidara technically betrayed Itachi because he tried to kill Sasuke, and then Deidara wanted to kill
just cared about art. That's what it is.
Orochimaru.
Like,
Sasori technically
Sasori just
betrayed
cared about
the
art.
Akatsuki in his death.
everyone except for Kisame. They
Yeah,
don't betray the
yeah, so again,
He's the
like
only
2
one
for
who
10
was
track.
loyal from day 1 and loyal at day 99 or whatever. Like, he was the only character who was just purely loyal to the, which is what dude Odyssey to Kisame. It's so beautiful because like Kisame's whole thing was he always had to be like unloyal and backstab and all these lies and shit, but he's loyal to the Akatsuki. Like, hell yeah.
It makes sense that Kisame would be loyal to Obito after Obito revealed it was Obito to Kisame. That was a huge thing that Obito did to Kisame, and Kisame knew it because the act of kindness of Obito revealing Obito to Kisame because he's Obito.
Stop from that.
Diego's Bloodspray, what do you think about that, Diego? The fact that Obito revealed himself to Kisame and that Kisame knew it was Obito.
Allow me to let me give you the background.
I think you...
I'll ask you the question. Okay, do you think Obito, when he revealed himself to Kisame,
And his crushed face,
Kisame think, oh wow, that's Obito, that guy who died under a boulder, or
and
do you
his
think,
Obito Mangekyo
"This
starring on
really
Titan,
is Madara? Which do you think it was?
using his
I
Obito
think,
voice.
I think that Kisame probably saw that he had like the Mangekyo, and he knows. Well, maybe you can't prove that he knows before his time with Itachi, but we know like from his time with Itachi that he knows the Mangekyo is like essentially makes you untouchable. So he probably saw that Obito had the Mangekyo, and he was like, this guy with the Mangekyo wants anything to do with me, and then he starts like calling him, Madara-sama or whatever he was saying.
Yeah, when Obito asked him to call him Madara after he revealed he was Obito. You know who else has a Mangekyo, by the way? Obito! Man, isn't that crazy? How
Dude,
Obito revealed
okay,
Obito's
I know
Mangekyo.
he is
to know
trolling.
to
He
Kisame.
is trolling here, but yes, like you said, Kisame just probably saw the Mangekyo and, like everyone at the 5 Kage Summit, just believed that it was Madara because they're all so freaking gullible for some reason. But that's what honestly happened. He just believed it was Madara, and that's the end of it. He doesn't know who Obito is. Okay, let's be honest here. Freaking kid Obito, Kisame at 13 never heard of Obito. Okay?
What, you mean the
Because Obito was
legend
not
of the
some
Hidden
crazy
Leaf?
famous-
Oh, no one heard of Obito
Not
before he
the
died. He
No
was like,
one
Man,
knew.
remember
No
the
way.
White Fang and how he went out and how he was more infamous than the Sannin? And then Obito did the
Yeah,
same
Obito-
thing? So, okay, so Obito's known, world-renowned
No, he's
shinobi.
not well renowned. The only people who knew Obito were Kakashi.
I'm
and
gonna
Dai.
argue Obito is more popular than Madara, considering he's more recent.
That's insane.
No, he's not. He's
It
definitely
doesn't
not
make
more
any
popular.
sense. That does
You
not
mean
make any
the
sense.
fossil dinosaur zombie Madara? Naruto didn't
That
even
the
know who he
entire
was.
World feared, yeah.
We literally learned about Obito
Even
like
when
episode 2.
Obito-
Oodie, allow me to make you a comparison. I don't even know the name of half of my next door neighbors, but I know the name of Adolf Hitler. Oh, my next door neighbors are a lot more recent than Adolf Hitler. Doesn't mean I know
Are you
who they
allowed
are.
to say
Okay,
that?
but
Are you allowed
but
to
did
say
your
that?
next door neighbors do so? Okay, that's as far as I'm going.
It's the honest truth. I know who this guy is. This legendarily infamous figure. I know who he is. I don't know my next door
I think the better
Who I'm
comparison
currently
is who's
screaming
more
outside the house
popular, Hitler or Eren? And I'm gonna go Eren.
Aaron.
What?
Well,
Aaron.
um, well, popular
That's
is
also
really
even
popular.
when Obito
Are you referring
actually.
to likeness or just no?
I refuse to clarify.
Because
Wild.
I would say Aaron is probably more popular in the sense of he's liked, but he's definitely not more well known. More people know who Hitler is than Aaron Yeager.
More people liked
definitely.
Obito than Madara as well. It's just consistent, Conway. You're making my point for me.
No,
There's
because
there's no
well,
point to be made.
That's not
the problem
exactly
is-
true.
The problem here, Oodie, is only one person liked Madara, Hashirama, and at least 3 people liked Obito.
Exactly.
So yeah, no shit,
Thank
more
you.
people like Obito, but that doesn't mean he's more well known.
He's more liked by the people.
They
that-
also
Listen,
had no reason.
okay, you really want to bring a quantity versus quality argument in this comic? Oh my gosh, you're really stooping that low.
Nobody had any reason to dislike Obito as a kid. He was a nice guy. Everyone had reason to dislike Madara because he's over here trying to like
I mean,
destroy the freaking world.
people did dislike Obito when he was a kid. Like they clowned on him for being like a loser. Same thing they did
Yeah,
with
that doesn't mean
Naruto.
they hate him. They don't hate Obito. They just are picking on him.
And
It's
who would
like
you pick
Rock
on?
Lee.
Someone
Rock
you
Lee,
hate.
even except for Rock Lee. Nobody actually hated Rock Lee for any reason. They're just making fun of him for sucking at ninjutsu.
I'm
They're
pretty
picking on him,
sure,
but it doesn't mean they're like, oh, I dislike this guy.
I'm
It's
pretty
not.
sure
It's different.
that Cloud Ninja he killed, he probably hated Obito.
He didn't even know he was Obito.
He hated him
Wait,
though.
what class?
The invisible guy.
Okay. Oh, that's a rock
Obito
stone ninja.
Okay, same thing. It's like, it's like matter. They're
Okay.
both matter.
Okay.
Okay, so you got one
There's
guy
a
that
lot more
disliked
people hated
Obito so
Madara than
far,
the one stone ninja.
compared to the entire Shinobi world being
The
afraid.
point
of
was
Madara.
liking Obito, not disliking him. So
Like,
again, you're just
so-
proving my point for me.
Okay, the
Well,
reality
liking,
here is
disliking.
Kisame had never heard of Obito, okay? Half the Leaf villagers, like Naruto, had never heard of Obito. They don't know him because they never met him, and Obito was not a famous person before this, anyway. He was not famous because he died too young. Like, Kakashi was famous. Obito was not.
Urashiki would be a good motivation for Momoshiki to be on Boruto's side. I had to get that out before I forgot about it.
Good segue. Back to
Oh,
Urashiki.
Ishiki.
By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of Urashiki, he's also reveled as the strongest, but he's the least known
Revered.
Otsutsuki. Yeah, just like Madara and Obito. So thank you again, Mr. Mayhem, for making
That's
my point
not
for
a
me.
comparison.
No.
To me.
But okay,
First
so
of all,
going back to
nobody-
Urashiki here,
first
I
of
think
all-
we
first of all,
really
Oodie-
we have to go back to the beginning of Urashiki here. So
Oodie,
going back to
first
Urashiki's
of all-
story, his backstory, his
Oodie,
mythology of
first of
Urashiki,
all-
Kamui, I
Oodie,
think
Oodie,
to
first
speak on his mythology. So first of all, he has to rescue a tortoise, a turtle, from the children who are torturing the turtle. So he rescues that turtle. Turns out that turtle is like an important turtle and everything. So he does that. The next day he comes back for the turtle. So just like Urashiki saved the turtle, the time traveling turtle from Boruto and Sasuke, he technically did that in some arguable sense. But then after that, the next day after the time traveling turtle left Boruto and Sasuke, he met back up with the turtle because of omnipotence. So we'll get onto that though. It also is time traveling.
We can just holler over each other all day. We can all just scream over each other.
So like I was saying with the mythology, so then the time traveling. So 300 years later, he comes back to reality. Based on the turtle who gave him something. So and that happened off screen, and we'll get that in the Boruto Blue 2 Vortex.
They don't even know who he is because he's not famous. Unlike Urashiki, who was silly known to be strong anyway, according to the Boruto anime.
Okay, I want to actually talk about the revered as the strongest statement. For one, revered as doesn't have to mean that you actually are something. Like, I revere myself as the greatest Naruto content creator on the planet. That doesn't mean, well, it is true, but it doesn't mean that it has to be true that I say that. Also, revered as it doesn't really say what time he was revered as, and as we know, Ishiki like left the planet, and he presumably got hella stronger after Kaguya like caught him off guard or whatever. So the people back on the Otsutsuki planet who revere him as that.
Why did Ishiki presumably get stronger?
I mean, considering that she left him without any legs and he had to like steal out from someone's brain for nutrients, he probably got stronger. Yeah.
Here's a good question.
I don't know if that's true.
For being like essentially a vegetable.
In the statement, does it use the word "is revered as the strongest" or "was revered as the strongest"? That would matter. Because "is" would be.
I don't know if this is true, but I feel like the fact that it didn't specify means the default assumption is in that case.
Well,
I don't know.
No, I mean, but the statement does specify. I'm asking which one does it specify? Does it say "is" or "was"?
I don't think it does. I think it just says revered as the strongest of his clan. I think that is the statement. I don't think it says is or was.
Urishiki's entrance as an Otsutsuki like Kaguya, revered as the strongest of his clan, and he's standing in the way of our heroes.
So I think the default assumption would be is. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I believe I can't. If it doesn't specify the tense, I think I don't know. I feel like is the default assumption, but. I mean,
to be fair,
funny.
There is a comma there, comma and. So based on English conjugation of sentences, we learned in middle school that this is a compound sentence, which means the first part goes in line with the second part, and the second part has a contraction of he. It's he's. And as we know, the contraction of he's is he is standing in the way. So we know that that's in current tense, and because this is a compound sentence rather than a complex sentence, that means the first part has to take place in
You
the
made
current
this
tense.
up.
No.
You
is
made
my
this
retort.
up.
No is my retort. Counter that.
Anyway,
I mean,
it also
doesn't.
There's no way it could account for like. It depends on whose perspective it is that is revering him as the strongest.
Yes.
Yeah, it does depend on that, though. Who is the one revering him as the strongest of his clan? If it's just like Naruto, Sasuke, and them, well, they don't know about Ishiki.
Oh, well, I was thinking
Shibai, so on.
The
so
better idea there would be Kaguya.
Stronger than Momoshiki, Ishiki, and Kaguya. But
yeah, so remember that.
If it's technically the Otsutsuki clan who's revering him as the strongest, that's a different story.
I do think it is the Otsutsuki's clan, but at least that's my interpretation. I think it's Kaguya. So because Kaguya came to Earth like thousands of years ago or whatever, this is before they ate all their chakra fruits or whatever they did throughout the past thousands of years. So Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki thousands of years ago would just by default be weaker than they are when they come to Earth thousands of years later, because they've had thousands of years to get stronger.
Yeah, I'd like to think they got at least one pill stronger.
Exactly. Yeah, even if they're not training to get stronger because they don't know Kaguya betrayed anyone or anything like that, they're still doing their Otsutsuki thing, so...
Yeah. Like, they're...
All that, and they're still weaker than Urashiki.
I was explaining the mythology. So mythology, he comes back in the future. That's... Okay, we got that, because of the turtle. So in the turtle... Okay, we're gonna get that, and Boruto blew to Vortex, and you want to know why? It's because... just like he posted right now, there's a screenshot, Mr. Mayhem. Omnipotence happened. Boruto episode 135, we see Omnipotence in the anime. And this is a time slip arc. This is when Urashiki dies. I have it pulled up.
Yeah.
This is end of the episode.
Copyright
You can see
incoming.
based on like the I forget what this is called. The smudging, the smear, the scrubbing of the timeline. You see, this is you get fused Urashiki. This is the
Notice the
child's
fish, too.
father, Rasengan, whatever. They're all about to kill Urashiki. He's dying. So this is what this is. End of the episode. So there goes the Rasengan through the dragon into the sky. I'm going to pause very slowly here. Actually, I'll just play this in very slow speed. That would help, I think. 0.5 times speed, close enough. So you get this light, the Rasengan blows up, and Omnipotence. I think this is it, right? Was that it?
That was the scene, yeah. It's just his screenshot was just better.
Yeah.
But
you got the
so
perfect frame.
technically speaking, like Omnipotence worked the same way. There's a big flash, then you see the Saturn-y moon, crescent moon thing. But you could argue that Urashiki actually has Omnipotence, and he just didn't use it until that moment.
Well, it could be why he had to use he kept saying that's not enough chakra.
Mm.
And then he ate his eyeballs. Like,
Which is actually crazy. Like, he in a way nerfed himself hacks-wise, as far as we're aware anyway.
what's weird too, like, it also kind of mirrors Madara too, where Madara, you know, had no eyes when he was sitting there, gave his eyes away to everybody. Like, he gave his Rinnegan to Obito to give to Nagato, in the same regard that Urashiki had no eyes, could be given the eyes that he had to other, like, put him in Eida and Daemon. Like,
I still don't know why they had him go through a portal. Like, unless it means something in the manga later on, I don't actually know why. Like, Momoshiki just transformed.
well,
like,
did he go
didn't
back
get
in
to go
time
through-
himself too? Like, is it a souped up version of his actual power where he could like shift a couple of seconds here and there, like, as his regular power, and choose the best outcome? So was it a souped up version of that where he's, you know what I mean? Like, is it like, I can't even say it, Kotu,
Odo Matsukami? What did you
yes. Yes. I mean, is it a souped up, is it the Shinjutsu version of that? Like,
We know different Otsutsuki have different Shinjutsu, so it's very plausible that Urashiki just has Omnipotence.
well, and two, it's the Rinnegan abilities. Remember from, like, early on, like, Danzo used the same thing, so is his the higher version of that? Because he has Urashiki has a Rinnegan too. Is that the pure form of it?
Plus, if he's revered as the
The pure
strongest,
form
he
of what?
probably has the most Shinjutsu as well.
Izanagi?
Yeah,
Izanagi?
it's not good. I was gonna
Yeah.
brief that on that.
Oh, yeah, I
So
see what
it's
you're
like
saying.
a pure form of that, like,
I mean, in a way, okay, so I see what you're saying with that. Okay, visually, Urashiki's blue Rinnegan timey-wimey thing does actually look like a just better version of Izanagi, like one where you don't lose your eyesight, essentially. That is visually what it looks like, but what it explains is happening is different, so I don't know if the two abilities really are related. Like,
but he has
they
a golden
look-
one too, though.
well, the golden one he just doesn't use, just like Momoshiki, so I don't know what to think of that one, but nobody likes to use the golden Rinnegan, apparently.
Well, that's the point. Is like, when he goes through that portal, does he just go back in time and you see something else? Like, is that is that almost like a
I mean,
visual
I'd be
prowess,
fine
like
with that.
Senrigan right there? Like,
From how I
you see what
understand-
he wants you to see.
The golden Rinnegan is meant to not be used. It's when it's not in use in order to save chakra. So, like, Obito couldn't control it because it was, like, staying purple because he couldn't turn it yellow. So yellow's just, like, a chakra saving mode, I guess. Is
No,
my
I think
interpretation.
the color of the Rinnegan is just the color of their
Well,
Rinnegan.
anytime he
Like,
uses the
so, for
Rinnegan, he
example,
changes it to red.
Hakuromo's the only one with the purple Rinnegan. Everyone who awakens a purple Rinnegan essentially is reawakening Hakuromo's Rinnegan in a way, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that just like the purple Rinnegan is for whatever, I mean, if it means anything power-wise, who knows? Because the problem is like red, okay, because Momoshiki has a red one, Urashiki has a red one, but Urashiki's blue one's kind of like usually better. I don't know which color is really the best necessarily. I know that the golden one was the upgrade, but they don't like use it. So,
you guys rank the Rinnegan really quick based on the color, how strong it is.
Well, okay, well, hold on, though. All right, are we going to use the Boruto anime or the Boruto movie? Because Boruto movie, Momoshiki is a purple Rinnegan. So that is going to change things. Are we going to differentiate Urashiki's red Tomare Rinnegan from Momoshiki's red hand Rinnegan? Or are we just going to say those are red Rinnegan and equate them in the same tier?
They look.
Well, either
Is this
way,
like
not
the hair thing
the
where
other
the colors
question was
make them
gonna be,
stronger.
are we going to include the Rene Sharingan as a red Rinnegan, or are we not? Are we including that too?
I feel like we don't know what all the blue Rinnegan does. I feel like we've only gotten snippets. Another reason why I think
Well,
that
I mean,
they have to have
'cause
Yoshiki come back.
In a way, I would almost argue, depending on if we're counting the infinites, like if we're counting the Rene Sharingan, this might differ. But if we're not, I honestly think it goes blue, purple, red, because the blue Rinnegan, the timey-wimey hacks thing, just on its own is the most busted ability. The purple one, the only characters who ever use these abilities have purple Rinnegan. So we have Chibaku Tensei, the 6 Rinnegan abilities Nagato uses, Ameto Techikara's Limbo, they're all purple Rinnegan abilities. Those are all pretty busted. They're honestly better than Momoshiki's Absorb and Release Jutsu. I'd much rather have Limbo, just gonna be honest. And on top of everything else. Yamatsu Hirasaka, it's something that Kage and Urashiki both use with a red Rinnegan-like thing. Yeah, it's cool, but like, I mean, I'm still taking Limbo over it, just in battle anyway, on top of all the other ones. You could argue for the purple being the best, but I do think the timey-wimey thing is busted enough that you could argue for that one.
Like we don't. I feel like there's still more to see too from that blue one.
Yeah, that's also possible if it has more abilities. But if we're just gonna only go with the timey-wimey thing, it's down to the blue or purple. I mean, the golden one's in last place. No offense, it clearly doesn't do anything apparently. So,
And where does Senrigan and Daemon's eye fall under too? Like we still don't know.
yeah, those are in the moon dojutsu category.
Okay.
And don't you think
That said,
it would-
actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say a good question to ask would be like, what do we think of the overall strongest dojutsu ability is? Just one singular jutsu.
Can Omnipotence
Time
count
hacks,
as
nasty.
a doujutsu?
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
so.
We don't know where they fall under.
Then,
Are those blue Rinnegan abilities? Or no?
do we think Eida was able to use Omnipotence because of the Senrigan? Or can she use it outside of the Senrigan?
So that's actually a good question. The reason why I say that is because when it comes to her love charm, at least, literally, like I've discussed this in videos before, like if every character is not affected by her until they like look at her eyes. Like before then, they're always just like not affected. But when they look at her eyes, that's when they magically become affected. So it does seem like it is related. Not to mention the fact that she literally creates a Senrigan moon in when she uses Omnipotence. So, like, I do think it is related. You might not need to have the Senrigan in particular. Like, for example, the Jogan might be able to accomplish the same thing. The Blue Rinnegan, maybe it can accomplish the same thing. Maybe you just need a blue eye. The Boruto blue eyes. Look at that. Maybe you need a blue eye. Who knows? But the point, though, is I do think in Eida's case, they're definitely connected.
This
It
is
might be a dojutsu ability, like that she has because of her Senrigan, but it also might be like usable by other dojutsu.
Eida's charm is just misleading as a power in itself. 'Cause it's really not even a power. I didn't understand it for a long time, and it actually like clicked one day. I was like, oh, it's not an actual power because it's her power is omnipotence. She wished for everyone to love her. That's why he said Momoshiki said, oh, he didn't understand. There's no such thing as a charm ability because it's not a charm ability. She just wished that everybody would love her.
yeah.
You know what
It's
else is actually
Omnipotence.
funny about that? So I'll have to reread chapter 80 for this specifically, but like Eida seemingly now understands how her ability works, at least a little bit better. Like she understands that like this, like what happened this time was like omnipotence from Kawaki's desires, and she says like, oh, this happened once before, implying that she's like figured out essentially how her charm works. So like she really doesn't need to hate Amato anymore. It's her own fault.
The mere
She's the one who
conception
wanted it.
alone proves that Eida can do omnipotence without Kawaki, so I hate that people always say that.
Oh yeah. That's stupid. Like she can't do it currently. At least she's not able to like consciously activate it upon her own will every time. The only thing Kawaki did in that scenario was make her do a specific case of omnipotence. He's the reason why Boruto and Kawaki swap roles, but like he's also the reason why it could happen in the first place. Like if Eida hypothetically wanted it and just made it happen, he could do the same thing. It's just Kawaki's just desire is the one she used essentially.
Well, based
She
on
doesn't use
that,
Kawaki.
she could arguably just do it whenever she wants now that she knows what it is, because like we were just saying, she didn't know what it was the first time or even first 2 times she used it,
not true.
but now
like,
she does.
Boruto knows he has a special eye. Doesn't mean he can use it whenever he wants.
Well, he also doesn't have the Jogan activated at all times, unlike the Senrigan.
Okay,
But
fair,
that gets
but
into
even
another
then,
point really
he had
quickly.
here's another example then. Boruto has a karma seal at all times. But before he actually learned how to use the space-time ninjutsu, he couldn't do it at all times. Like, he didn't know how to do it. So, Eida can know what it is. She can know that she's done it before without really learning how she did it. Maybe if she did it, like, 2 more times, let's say, maybe she'd get it down. She'd get the technique down. She might know how to do it now, but, like, it doesn't automatically mean she does.
Sure. Well, I wasn't saying she definitely does. I was just presenting it as a possibility, which you agree with. So
Yeah, like, it's possible that she could do it at any time. Yeah, for sure.
This being said, Diego...
Although, Momoshiki seems to believe she can't ever learn how to master it. But, you know, as we know, Momoshiki seems to be wrong a lot.
Yes, he does. Diego, we were wondering your thoughts on what you think about when Eida uses omnipotence. Her like eye doesn't have the Senrigan or anything. Like, do you think that's an art inconsistency? Because it happens later on as well, just randomly. Or do you think they intentionally left her eyes vague or whatever?
It's probably an inconsistency, but we still don't really know a lot about. Her Senrigan is tied to Shibai, right? So we still don't really know a lot about that yet. Yeah. It could be that omnipotence isn't tied to her Senrigan. I could be wrong about that, but it's more than likely art inconsistency. Excuse me. Like how sometimes Obito would use his Mangekyo abilities, and his Mangekyo would be a 3-tomo or something, you know, back in the day.
So, so I know what Oodie's talking about when it happens again randomly. Initially, my thought as I was reading the chapter is for lack of a better word, he transferred the moon to the sky. Like, essentially, like the moon manifested in the sky instead of her eyes. So that's kind of like more or less what I was thinking happened. Like, as a wacky example, imagine if when Obito used Kamui, his Mangekyo pattern appeared in the sky. It would be kind of like that. However, yes, I know what Udi's talking about. She's just randomly talking in another panel, and it just goes away for a second and comes right back. So I don't know. At the very least, the second time, I think, is just an inconsistency. The first time might have been intentional.
Yeah, also, so the second time is when she's talking with like Sasuke and Boruto at the very end of the last chapter.
That guy, and I think he's cool.
When it happens with Eida's eye the second time, she's also very far away, so it is definitely likely to be an inconsistency there. It's like right before Boruto declares, "Oh, I'm gonna save the Kawaki. I'm gonna save the whole world. I'm gonna make them all believe that it's it's like the thing we get before the time skip or whatever, as they'd say it is." But yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, okay. Sticking to this eye thing with Eida. So, we've talked about this before, Kamui. This is like an old discussion. But it's kind of arguably like more of a theme going on here, or just like for like cool character design. But like Eida has the moon as her eye, and then Daemon has the sun, or like half the moon, or I forget what we said. The eclipse.
No, yeah, Daemon has a half moon. Yeah, not the sun.
It was like the not the eclipse, but like half moon. What was it?
Okay, no, okay. Eida has a crescent moon. Yes. Daemon has like a half moon, and Boruto has the full moon. Yeah, that's what the thing is.
Okay. With that being said, so we know Jogan is an ability and the Senrigan's an ability. Do we think Daemon's reflectability is linked to his eye, or do you think that's separate? Or like maybe like we thought it was a love charm, turns out it's omnipotence. What if it's not reflection? What if it's omnipotence 2.0 or something? Like, what do you guys think is up with Daemon's eye?
Okay, yeah. So actually, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that part at least. So I do think it's tied to his eye, but it might be. I don't think it is omnipotence in of itself, just because of the fact that here's the problem. On one hand, I actually think it could be a similar case where it's just he happens to be manifesting this ability, but it's really another one. The only problem though is Momoshiki just said like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." The only one he was like, "No, that's not a Shinjutsu," was the love charm. So Momoshiki seems to believe that the reflection thing just is a Shinjutsu. That's the only problem. Because I feel like he would have said none of these are right. Like I feel like he would have been like, "Well, yeah, okay, Code's claw marks are Shinjutsu, but like Eida and Daemon's abilities aren't." I feel like he would have pointed that out.
Claw marks are the stupidest Shinjutsu of all time. It doesn't make any sense.
They are.
Oh my gosh.
Like claw marks.
I like Code.
But like either way, the point though is I feel like he would have also commented on that one.
Sure.
And you were talking about before, like that portal thing. Like that's kind of I posted it in chat. The portals kind of look like the same portals that Urashiki was fighting Sasuke in, like in the background. Like we were talking about before Urashiki transforms, and he goes through that portal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. You're
They look
talking about
very
in the
similar.
tiny wimey place,
Yep.
like with the window things.
Yep.
Window things.
Okay, yeah, now I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the screen, that's why I have to figure it out.
Okay.
Sorry. And I think that, like I was saying before too, that would be a good driving factor for Momoshiki to actually either despair and come to Boruto's side, or actually start to understand Boruto, because it would be somebody from his clan betraying him the same way. And he's and how they have like mirror, like they say, like he's got a mirror kind of where Kawaki mirrors Ishiki's kind of like the same ideas and everything. Boruto's kind of supposed to be the same thing, spoiled brat, like where Momoshiki's obviously a spoiled brat too.
Yep, that was a major thing in the first arc of the story. Boruto and Momoshiki paralleled each other. Ishiki and Kawaki, similar deal, the whole same wavelength thing. Whether they actually make it a story point or not, it's definitely underlyingly like a symbolic thing.
So for like Urashiki to be the one to betray him, and it was right in front of his face the whole time, would be something that could, I feel like, motivate Momoshiki to despair in the same way. Like, ha ha ha, something shitty's gonna happen to you, Boruto. Oh, wait a minute, something shitty happened to me too. Like, if we have parallel wavelengths. Maybe
that could be pretty cool.
It would benefit me to work on your side, since we're basically like, all right, we're kind of in the same. We're in the same. Like he'd be able to actually finally understand Boruto, where he wouldn't be so like mocking.
What if Momoshiki just lost everything at the same time?
Right?
That'd be funny.
And the two also, if you looked up, that's the stone tablet one that's in the chat as well. Like in the one in the manga, you can clearly see like a top right corner. And it looks similar to like Urashiki's horn, where it kind of twists to the front and he's got the eye on the top. And it could be somebody else, obviously, too, but it's the bottom one that really confuses me. Like, is that supposed to be, like, Joshin? Is that supposed to be Shibai? Like, or is that somebody else we don't know?
Yeah, that's honestly, yeah, because I guess we have some candidates between Urashiki and Shibai's characters we know exist that could be on there. But if it's not one or either of them, that's where it gets interesting. I don't like the Boruto and Kawaki one personally, though, because it's like, as Otsutsuki, they're really just like Ishiki and Momoshiki. Like, the reason they're Otsutsuki is because they essentially are Ishiki and Momoshiki. So it's like, they're not really different Otsutsuki. That's the whole point of Karma. It's to recreate the same ones that already existed. So it's like, I don't like that as much.
Really quickly, I want to talk on Urashiki's power scaling, and then we'll move to a completely different topic. Well, we'll segue, but okay. So I do think Urashiki is revered as the strongest. I think it's at least shown pretty consistently that Urashiki is strong. You look at, he fought, first of all, he took Mitsuki's Sage mode. Mitsuki should you can't argue he's off guard. You can argue that because he is Sage Mode, he has like sensory abilities as well. So Urashiki just kind of speed blitzed him there, and then Mitsuki in Sage Mode is like stronger than Orochimaru, who's like incredibly strong in the Boruto era. So there's that scaling right there. Then you have Urashiki versus Sasuke and Gaara during the tuning exams. I would argue Gaara is definitively the strongest of the 4 Kage, outside of Naruto and Sasuke, obviously. So he's the strongest of the 4 Kage. And then he's fighting both Sasuke and Gaara. You can argue he loses, but he's also like not expecting what happens with like the water. And it's not like he even gets like a single scratch on him. If anything, he leaves because I think that was around the time. I don't think he like lost. I think it was more like, oh, it's time to go because like we've already won. Or
he
whatever.
just said like, oh, my superiors are just about finished up. So
yeah, exactly. He like again, he doesn't have a scratch on him. He arguably leaves a fight stronger than he started because that's when he gets his Rinnegan. So he's definitely winning. Then we see later on
I think he had the Rinnegan. I think he just didn't use it before. He makes the same portal with that Rinnegan like earlier on.
I would have to go back and double check. That's not how I saw it.
He makes the Yamatsu Kurosaka portal several times. He doesn't use the Rinnegan to do it, but he makes the portal. So he already had the Rinnegan, I'm pretty sure. He just wasn't using it.
And the fact that he knows what's going on too, is he using the puppets to watch them, or is he using like some other power to watch them from a distance?
Honestly, I think he just looked at all the tornadoes and shit and was like, yeah, I think they're about finished up.
Yeah, so he got the puppets from...
I think he just looked.
He one-shot Toneri. Let's keep in mind, Naruto was stated in his prime when he fought Toneri, so this is the strongest Naruto who was barely even able to beat Toneri.
Hold on,
no, this is fair.
Toneri does not have the Tenseigan.
Okay, he doesn't have his eyes, but he still is the strongest sensory ninja in all of Boruto. He's literally able to see Boruto's fate when he's blind, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he's got crazy sensory abilities.
He's able to see Boruto's fate without eyes. I don't want to sit here. So Momoshiki is the only other character in the entirety of Boruto who's able to do that, and he needed his Byakugan in order to do that. Yeah, so he's comparable to Momoshiki with the Byakugan, Toneri just without eyes. Okay, and then Urashiki's one-shotting that. So there's blatant scaling above Momoshiki right there. You compare Urashiki with his fishing rods, easily able to penetrate Gaara's sand, whereas Momoshiki is not able to penetrate it with his fist or whatever. So Urashiki consistently above in terms of AP. He's able to do more damage that way. And again, based on durability, he wasn't able to be damaged at all when fighting Sasuke or Gaara, both times when they fought. Then later on, you can argue during the time slip arc, based on like the picture on screen right now, this is when he's in the timey-wimey place when he gets thrown out. You can argue he uses a lot of his chakra here, so he loses his chakra. He goes into the fight, just like Jigen at 10% or less when he's crying on his knees, not able to fight. You think he's strong, but really he's at 10%. You can argue Urashiki goes into the fight at like, I don't know, 10% or whatever, stronger, weaker, whatever, you could argue. So it's a weaker version of Urashiki, and then he eats his eye, but let's keep in mind, he gets stronger from this point, but this is stronger than 10% Urashiki. For all we know, this transformed Urashiki, this isn't 100% or stronger than he ever has been before. At least I don't think it is. I think it could just be like 20% of normal Urashiki. And because, again, he doesn't have any chakra at this point. He already used it all.
Based on how he does, I don't think it's the strongest Urashiki's ever been.
Exactly. So, yeah. Same with like Sasuke and Jiraiya and all of them. They use their chakra to fight Urashiki. Urashiki's getting weaker, so it's not like oh, Urashiki's base Jiraiya level. No, he's used all his chakra fighting Sasuke, Jiraiya. Let's keep in mind Sasuke used Kirin. We've only seen Kirin 3 times, so it's a very important jutsu. The first time when he made it for his lifelong goal of taking out his brother Itachi, the man who slaughtered his family.
It was just zap Urashiki.
He used it when starting a world revolution to destroy the strongest ninja of all time, Naruto. And both... Okay, Sasuke, Itachi used Susanoo. He fell to his knees, literally fell to the ground. Naruto, when he didn't just tank it, he was still hurt by Kirin. And then I think Urashiki just straight up tanked it. Like, he didn't have an avatar or anything. He just tanked it like his skin just tanked Kirin.
It hurt him. It hurt him. But
it hurt him, but again, like, it's like he tanked it more than Naruto, who had the Kurama avatar around him at the time. So he's very, and keep in mind, this again isn't 100% Urashiki. This is like the 10% Urashiki or whatever. So it makes sense that he lost his father's child or something.
And it's just like
But then he also isn't able to kill a member of his clan, so he's not able to kill Boruto, and he wants the Nine Tails, so he doesn't want to kill Naruto either. So the father-child Rasengan, it arguably works. You could also do some really crazy wonky stuff and say that because Boruto, the first time against Momoshiki, was able to, like, store that Rasengan, you could argue it's still stored, so he used the Rasengan that Naruto gave him during the Momoshiki fight, and he used that same Rasengan to kill Urashiki here. So, okay, you could argue that's why Urashiki lost. It's crazy, but you could do that. Again, Urashiki doesn't want to kill either Boruto or Naruto. Urashiki's out of chakra. He still has Jiraiya there. He still has Sasuke there. And with the hair whirls, Jiraiya's a celestial being taking down her, and Sasuke has hair as well, so he obviously isn't going to win anymore. So he uses his remaining chakra with with his new Senrigan that we didn't know. He makes the Omnipotence, and he goes into the future with his future traveling ability. Keep in mind, he has that as well to, like, pause time. So he is great for his battle tactician strategy as well. Makes everyone thinks he's dead. So then when he comes back in the future to take Kurama, no one's going to be none the wiser. And there you go. And that's my scaling. And if you want more scaling, go check out Diego the Bloodspray's video where he talks about this in detail. That isn't me rambling randomly.
Yes.
Diego, talk on that. Here's your segue.
Yeah, I actually go in depth about Urashiki, how his character is pretty consistent with the scaling that's presented to us, about how he's, like, sandbagging and not really trying with when he fights, like, either Jiraiya or, like, Kid Naruto and Boruto and stuff. If you're interested in how strong Urashiki should be in comparison to the rest of the cast or the other Otsutsuki, then you should check that video out. Spoiler a little bit, I'm pretty sure that he's the second strongest. There's nothing yet to suggest that he could be as strong as Jigen or Ishiki, and I really doubt that he is that strong, but he's at least stronger than Momo, who's, like, stronger than everybody else for the most part. So that means Urashiki's beating Limiter's Code, okay? That means Urashiki's, like, beating who else? Maybe Boro, but everybody beats Boro. But anyway, it's kind of getting late for me right now, so I'm gonna head out. I love being on here. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and, you know, that's it for me.
Appreciate you coming on. Everyone go check out Diego's Bloodspray. I'll link his channel again in the comments. It's linked in the description, the title, all that.
I don't think you heard me earlier, so I'm going to say it again. I like your profile pic. I just read the fight with that dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm considering making this my channel profile picture because Diego's blood spray, there's a spray of blood on him.
He's cool looking.
Yeah.
He's cool looking.
I just got done reading JJK. I might make videos about it. I'm not sure yet, but again, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and you guys keep doing what you're doing.
For sure. And surprise second guest, we have JIRO. I talked to him like an hour ago, but like earlier today. Like earlier this evening, I was like, hey, you should come on. And thinking he was going to come on at a future date. But actually, it turns out he's coming on now. So everyone, shout out to JIRO. Okay, segueing from Urashiki to, believe it or not, the Minato manga. So this is crazy, but do you guys remember when we were talking on the Cloud Ninja podcast? Shout out to that podcast from a few weeks ago. And we were talking to, the Minato manga before it came out, so we were talking our predictions and stuff. Well, as I was, and it was only like a 2-hour pod, I wrote stuff down, and it didn't have everything. I didn't say everything that I wanted to say of my phone notes. And so I wanted to discuss with you guys some Minato manga predictions. So what do you think, guys, is going to happen with the Minato manga? Do you think we're going to learn the Rasengan in the Minato manga? What do you think we're going to get out of that? Who's the villain? How is he going to learn the Rasengan? What do you guys expect from the Minato manga? What's your expectations? Retroactively.
Well, I do think that Minato will create the Rasengan in it. Just based off the title. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retroactively, of course.
Yeah. And definitely as a joke, just like last time. I think he might fight Kushina. Fun fact, we did mention that. I did mention that he might. It said it's a joke, but maybe he.
Hold on, real quick. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. It's a true prediction.
Okay. No, go ahead.
So, Jiro, what are your predictions for the Minato manga?
You mean like beforehand, right?
Yeah,
what are your
retroactively
current
beforehand.
Yeah, so beforehand, and it's actually funny because like I downloaded Threads and I was like talking about that shit, and I was like, yo, like I was thinking maybe they're gonna like actually talk about like the Flying Raijin, right? Because like the Flying Raijin is talked about as this jutsu that's extremely difficult to like learn and understand. Like literally 3 Jonin level shinobi had to like come together just to use the Flying Raijin, just to like teleport Mei around. And Minato's like learning this shit by himself at like 19 years old. So I'm like, how the fuck is he doing that, right? But
they're like
but
14
they like never
now.
talk about the details and whatnot. You know what I mean? So like that's my mindset. Or like maybe like I don't know, like Sage mode, because the guy's like a perfect Sage. He's like in the war arc, and he's like, oh shit, okay, y'all are fighting over here. Okay, hold on, give me a second. 2 seconds later, he turns to like a perfect Sage. Like, what the fuck? Jiraiya's like 55 years old, and he still doesn't have the perfect Sage mode. Meanwhile, Minato's like done that shit like just so perfectly. So it's just like I'm thinking they're gonna unveil something about that, and it's gonna focus more on Minato. Then I come to actually read the thing, and I'm like, wow, this is really empty. Like, it's just disappointing as hell. I don't know what you guys thought, but like I was just sitting there like, okay, what was the purpose of this?
So,
Like,
I mean, for me, I also always was hoping, like, I, in my heart, knew it was going to be Rasengan. The title gave it away to me.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be Flying Raijin too, because I thought that'd be the most interesting. But that said, I do think it was, like, emotionally good. Like, it was like a feel-good chapter, more so than, like, a major league plot revealing chapter, which I
Yeah.
think is just what he was going for. I don't think he was going for like a mega revelation. I think he wanted to just keep it simple and just make it like an emotionally driven chapter more so than like a plot development chapter. Like, yeah, we learned this is how we created the Rasengan, but we already knew he did it based off a Biju bomb. So it's like that wasn't necessarily new in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just took it for what it was and just looked at it positively from there, instead of just being hung up on the fact that we didn't learn how we learned Flying Raijin. In fact, he actually had it before he made the Rasengan, which is kind of crazy. Like, when did he learn that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Who
no,
actually, better question, how did he learn it? Did he just read a scroll? Did somebody teach it to him?
and see, that's the thing. It's like it piques your interest so much because it's kind of like, okay, we know that Toby Rama made it, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Flying Raijin is a forbidden technique. So
Let's look it up.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
But yeah, let's check the data book. I mean, it consumes a lot of chakra, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It took all 3 of them to do it. Minato's guards, Kotetsu, Izumo,
Yeah.
and the third one, I forget. Genma?
No,
Genma.
those are not the right characters. It's Genma, Raido, and the unnamed third guy. It's not
Okay.
Izumo and Kotetsu.
Okay.
I don't even know the name of those other shinobi, to be
Listen,
honest with you.
This is the problem, is that this is literally the meme. We are doing the meme right now, those 2 guys from
Swear.
Naruto.
Yeah, actually, the name is that guy, but not that other guy.
The 10-10 level characters. The ones just on the side, you know. But yeah, like it's just, I don't know. Like I definitely do get that, you know, like Kishimoto probably just trying to like play it safe and just like, hey, you know, I'll just give, you know, people kind of like a little bit of a callback type of manga to just like, hey, remember these characters, even though I know we're in the Boruto era and we're focusing on that, but let's, you know, give a little callback. But I don't know. I guess that's just me being someone who like grew up watching Naruto and shit and expecting kind of like more important moments from that to hopefully be revealed. But honestly, it's just like something you got to come to terms with, where it's like the Naruto era is just done. Even though Minato isn't technically a part of the Naruto era, but you know, like those characters, they're in the past. I think he even said like he was surprised that so many people voted for Minato.
Yeah.
You know, so like, yeah, it just shocked me, honestly. It felt kind of like a filler arc reading the manga. You know what I mean? Like I was just sitting there like, okay, we know how the Rasengan was made. Seeing his other teammates that one was actually kind of cool, you know. Even though it was like a brief like glimpse and everything, that one was actually kind of cool because I mean people have been kind of waiting to see like who the fuck like these other teammates are. You know, that meme that goes around, like, is it like the ramen guy Teyuchi, and all that stuff. So kind of seeing them and, you know, seeing a little bit of dialogue was kind of dope. But like outside of that, like, you know, we didn't really see much. And then I'll probably say like the most annoying thing was just like how much they really didn't focus on Minato. Like how much screen time was given to like Kushina and Mito. And I'm just like, wait, like, is this a Minato manga or the history of the Uzumaki clan? Like, you know, like this is all right, but like, what are we focusing on here? You publish and you push it as a Minato manga, but when you actually read it and go through it, it's like, nah, it's kind of the Minato, Jiraiya, and Kushina and Mito manga chapter. And I'm just like, okay, well, you know, it would have been great if we at least got a little heads up that it wasn't going to be that focused on, you know, what he was doing and all that shit. But, you know, it is what it is, you know.
Thankfully.
There are talks though, real quick. There are talks there's going to be like there might be like a chapter 2. I don't know if that's true or not, but dope. Maybe.
I haven't heard anything like that. That'd be really cool though. Yeah, I'd love to see anything more. I think it is fine that Minato won because he wanted to do a Kurama story, the Nine Tails. As we know, he wanted the Nine Tails to win.
Yeah.
I mean, he even added it onto like the top 20 poster art or whatever. He literally apologized, like, yeah, I know Kurama got 21st, but yeah, I'm just gonna do this anyways. So we got 21 characters instead. And Kurama was like technically the biggest. Anyways, because we got Minato, he sort of used that as his opportunity to tell the story he had prepared for Kurama, is my idea. Like, he fudged it in a way to make Minato the center point, but, like, he wasn't really the center point anyways. But I think that's what happened. So I think we did get the Kurama story. So if this does come back and people are like, oh, Kurama has to win because Kishimoto said he has a Kurama story he wants to tell. I think he did tell it, so I don't think if it does come back, we don't have to vote Kurama just based on that alone because he already told the Kurama story, in my opinion. I think this was the Kurama story he wanted to tell. He just had to write Minato as the winner, so.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, some people did expect to get reveals, but, like, I think the audience just, like I was telling you in the comment section, I don't think they know what they want because they voted for Minato, they voted for Itachi, they voted for all these characters that we don't really care to see as much because we're not going to get new info and we already got everything that we need to. Unlike a character such as the White Fang of the Least, we know that me and Trippy wanted him to win. We wanted all these other characters to win because it's just, we got wasted opportunity because we didn't get anything substantial. Everything we got was really cool, but it wasn't anything lore heavy. It wasn't anything new. Unlike Boruto chapters, it's all new. Yeah. So yeah, I think. Let
me ask y'all. Who did you guys each vote for?
Sakumo. I voted for the White Fang on the.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Oodie did as well.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot to vote like most of the time. I only voted a couple times, and I voted for different people each time, like Nagato, Goofy Toby. I voted some joke with Kimimaro. I voted for some random people.
Kimimaro, I voted probably the most.
Like people I thought would be cool or funny,
Hashirama,
but I didn't remember
Tobirama,
to do it enough.
Yeah, I would say Minato wasn't even really my first option, but because like you guys said, there's other characters like Sakumo who like we literally know nothing about, right? Or like, you know, some other characters like take Shisui for example, right? I know like, you know, he was around for like a little bit in like some of the like flashbacks, but we still don't really know much about Shisui either.
People treat him like a god amongst men. That's crazy. Literally feetless.
First of all, the way that Kishimoto had so do this motherfucker like just annoyed this living shit out of me. Like he hyped him up to be like this, basically like Itachi level, right? Like this Itachi level prodigy, and then you know. Donzo just comes out of nowhere and just fucking takes his eye and shit, like off some casual ass. But anyway, that's a side tangent. But honestly, I voted for Minato because not necessarily because I wanted to really see a Minato manga, though I wasn't opposed to it, but I knew that he was a much more popular Naruto character that
Yeah.
really could win, but Sakumo is kind of like a little bit more in the background that I feel like you have to really know the story of Naruto to like actually like know this character. Whereas like if you're like a casual like Naruto or anime fan in general, you're not gonna know who Sakumo is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I already kind of knew that a lot of people were not gonna vote for him.
This goes back to me saying that I don't think the audience knows what they want, so I don't think the audience should listen, or the company should listen to us. Because even with that, I completely agree. Minato is one of the most popular characters, but you can attest to any of the YouTubers here, specifically Kamui. Any video he's done on the Minato manga has been a very low-performing video compared to his other videos.
Yeah,
for real.
It just hasn't popped off. Like, even, not just the YouTube videos, but the manga itself on Viz, it was like 11th for the week. Of all the manga that released that week, it was like 11th. Like, only 200,000 people read it. You could argue, like, Pirates had a huge play in that, or...
I think they definitely did.
Yeah.
Especially since it's a one-shot and it's not like a recurring thing. It's just like a lot of... Honestly, half the chapter was spoiled, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen so many pages of spoilers in a chapter. I don't know how they did that.
Dude, it's like it's the same way like whenever like there's like any of these like new like Marvel movies out. Like not like right now, but like throughout the whole like 10 years. From like Iron Man to like all the way to like Endgame, right? Whenever there will be like a new Marvel movie being released, people would go crazy and like all these new leaks and trailer this and what this could mean and everything. Me personally, I don't pay attention to any of that because like that just takes away from the whole movie like watching experience. And I take it the same way with the manga reading as well. It's like if I go and watch all these different YouTube videos of people like spoiling this and seeing what this thing in the background that's completely like kind of grayed out, what could this possibly mean? It's like sometimes stuff may be true to the point where it's like, okay, well, I just read all these different articles and I watched some of these YouTube videos to the point where it's like I kind of know like 30% of this whole movie now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because it's like people just constantly like talk about it. So like even with this Minato manga, I said to myself like I'm not gonna watch like any other content until it actually is like released and I'm gonna see it for myself, and then I'll give my own full judgment on it. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you're talking about. Like I was like looking up like some of the other videos of people like talking about the Minato manga, and I'm seeing people like release some videos and whatnot about things like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, wait,
oh my
the
God.
manga did not come out 3 weeks ago. What are you guys releasing right now? All these little spoilers and this and what could this possibly mean? And I'm like, guys, I get it. It's hype. It's dope. We're getting a Minato manga, but can we chill for 1 second? But no, no, people can't.
I definitely want to clarify, this is not just the Naruto community. I'm not just randomly hating on Boruto for some reason. No, I stand at everything. It's 10 out of 10 divine. Anyways, this is a problem with like all media, I think, nowadays, especially with the internet connecting everyone being on social media, like more and more, like basically all times of the day. It's created these fan communities just in general to where it's completely changed the culture, not for the fans but also for the media itself. So like I've never seen One Piece, but I know everything that like, oh my God, spoiler alert guys, but did you know that Ace dies in One Piece? I don't know who it is, but I know that's a pretty big point. Oh my God, Gear 5 Luffy. I haven't seen the first 4 gears, but I know it. Oh my God, Gear 5, that's crazy with the white hair and everything.
Everyone knows about Gear 5 Luffy now.
Exactly.
Like the Wano arc, oh my
watched
God,
a
don't get
single
me
episode.
started. It's crazy with a white beard and everything. Oh, no, I know everything, but I haven't seen it.
Wait,
But
so
anyways,
let me ask you guys: have any of you guys watched the One Piece?
No.
none of us have.
What's y'all's reason?
The dude's long nose. I hate the art style of the whole show, let alone that dude's nose.
That's my thing, right? Because I have like, I guess these are kind of petty. Like 2 main reasons. First of all, I think the art style is way too goofy. Like it's basically like I don't know any other like cartoon, animation style of anything that's like looks goofier to me than One Piece. That's my first thing, right? The second thing was like there's just way too many episodes, way too many chapters. Let's say if I didn't like watch Naruto when I was younger, and let's say like, you know, I was just starting out Naruto right now. Naruto has like, if you're including OG Naruto, Shippuden, and the Boruto stuff, that's like it's close to 1,000 episodes at this point, I would think. I don't think I would get into Naruto. Like, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm just going to sit there like, no, it's too much. It's too much shit. Like, I'm not going to start like 900 episodes all the way back and try to catch up with this shit. You know what I mean?
To be
So
fair,
I look at One Piece the same way.
I
I'm just
think-
like, yeah, I didn't watch it.
I think it's
I'm not
easier
going
if
to.
you can just break it down into bites. That's why we have arcs. So it's not that One Piece is 1,000 episodes. It's that One Piece is like 10 arcs of 100 episodes. So it's like 10 different stories, really, if you look at it that way.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm just at the point now where it's like I'm old. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know at least for me, like when I first started Naruto, I mean, honestly, for the longest time, Naruto was the only anime I had any intention of watching. Whereas now that I've started watching a few more, just the way I am, if I started One Piece, I mean, I'm not gonna watch any other anime for like 3 years while I catch up on One Piece. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I can just enjoy some other shows first. I'll get to One Piece eventually. It's just going to be like the last one I start.
I usually watch multiple
Exactly.
shows at the same time, but I get the idea. Yeah, you could just
I don't
watch
really
one
do
show
that. I
just to
feel like
blitz through it.
The problem for me, at least, is like, if I get hooked on the show, it's just, I just want to watch that show at that
Yeah.
point. And like when I was watching Death Note, my mind wasn't on Jujutsu Kaisen anymore. I watched one episode of it, but I was just like, okay, I want to watch Death Note right now. That's what I want to watch. And then same thing with Attack on Titan. And now I start Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm like, all right, that's what I want to read. Because I watched all of it. So just
I'm
like,
happy-
my
I'm
mind's
happy you
just
brought-
in that mode at that point.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up Death Note because I think it's just a perfect example of like the type of anime that's like, it's not only is it dope, but you can kind of like get into it at any time because at the end of the day, Death Note in totality is like 37 episodes. You
Yeah.
know, you can watch that anytime, right? Like right now, like I'm a college student, like I got like a shit ton of different work. Like, I got my own actual like real life job and shit. And I just don't have the time to like indulge in a lot of anime as much as I would want to, right? So that's why, like, I mean, even in one of the Death Note videos that I dropped on my channel, like literally like my intro to the video was like, I appreciate Death Note, anime like Death Note, because it gets to the point of what they're talking about in 37 episodes, where someone who doesn't have all the time in the world to sit around and watch anime can watch the anime or read the manga, kind of understand all the different, premises and points about it and be done with it and kind of be able to move on, So, I fuck with Death Note. Another one that was like that was like Erased. I don't know if you guys saw that one. It was like, I think it was like 12 episodes. Yeah, you saw it?
Yeah, it was really
I think
good.
it's on Netflix. Yeah, it was. It was hella dope, It was Promised Neverland. Even though people hate season 2, I watched season 1. I thought
Yeah.
season 1 was dope.
Yeah, we talked about
So
that
yeah,
before.
yeah. What y'all think of the season 2 though?
I've seen it. I don't think they have. I thought it was fine for what we got.
Yeah.
As an anime
Okay.
only.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, but then I started like looking it up, and people were like, "Why season 2 of Promised Neverland is the worst piece of shit that has ever existed?"
I've even uploaded a video and I got so many haters in the comment section of that video. It was really funny. Like, oh my god, I'm disgusted that YouTube would dare recommend me this. Jesus Christ. I didn't even say it was good. I just said it wasn't bad.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, wait, okay, like I understand. Okay, it wasn't like exactly like how the source material was in the manga, but like, can we at least sit here and like see it for what it is? And it's all right. It's okay, But no, it's like, it's the worst shit in the world. It doesn't match this in the manga in page 12, and I'm like, okay, all right.
It's
Okay,
not like they
whatever.
even ruined it. They just didn't cover certain material. Like, they didn't rush the
Yeah.
material that we actually got. They just didn't cover
Yeah.
it. Like, it's fine.
So remember Marvel Captain America Civil War, right? So the movie that came out and all that. If you actually read like the Civil War comic book, it's like 10 times better. And I actually read the comic book like, back when it actually like released and shit. So but I was able to watch the movie and I'm like, this is good for what it is. But I remember during the time when the movie was released and it's like, what the fuck is this? There's not enough characters. It doesn't match the comic book. Thor died in the comic book. Why did he die? It's all this shit, And I'm like, guys, this shit doesn't have to like be one-to-one. Like, I get it. There's certain things that weren't added in that you wish were added in. But it's like,
it is what it is. Like, can you at least sit back and enjoy the movie for what it is, and then actually see, like, okay, it's not that bad. If anything, it's actually pretty enjoyable. But no, like, people are just so fixated on their, like, it has to match the source material type vibe, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't quite agree with that, but sometimes I do. But at the end of the day, my thing is like, if something is enjoyable, if it's close enough to the source material, then it is what it is.
Yeah, plus this isn't the source material. This is an adaptation for a reason. It's going to be different. If you want the source material, just go read the manga. That's not changed.
Go read the manga.
It's not ruined.
Go read the manga, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the truth, man. That's the truth. But how people are with this stuff. But
Infinity War and Endgame didn't match the comic books either. But no one really complained about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
people
weird.
are weird. This
yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people are just salty if it's, well, I mean, a lot of it just depends on whether, I haven't read the comic version of, like, the Thanos stuff to compare, but, like, if it's redone differently, but it's good, at least equal, nobody's really going to complain as much if they like it better. But if it's not as good in the eyes of most people, then they're going to throw a huge hissy fit. Even if it's equal, they might throw a huge hissy fit and just say it's not as good because it's different. It's pretty finicky. Like, it almost has to be better for them to not complain.
So if you cut stuff out, people are mad. If you add stuff in, people are mad. Look at Naruto Storm Revolutions. When it was first released, it's released as like a Nuns 4, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 like remake kind of thing. People were so mad about that. The game was basically dead before we even got it. It's crazy compared. You just compare that to The Promised Neverland. It's the exact opposite. And then, same with, like, oh my god, literally everything. It's crazy. Oh.
People always find, look, at the end of the day, like, I realize, like, people will just complain about anything else. Just at the end of the day, like, you just enjoy what you can enjoy, and just kind of go from there. But no, like, I wanted to ask y'all about Boruto. Like, honestly, what did you initially think about it versus right now after chapter 80? What do you think about the series so far?
It depends on if it's a time skip or not.
Yeah.
Tommy,
I'll just let you answer that because I know you got a whole beef with us.
Oh, well, okay. I'm not done writing this video, mind you, but it's already nearly an hour long, and it's basically outlining why we shouldn't have a time skip.
Okay. Can you break that down a little bit? Why do you think we shouldn't have a time skip?
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just keeping it vague. If the arc, and I mean, we have a time skip now, essentially this arc ends, which means it would be ending literally an incomplete. It factually is incomplete. It misses, Oodie would love to talk about this too. It's literally missing essential story beats, two-way story that just would not be happening if the arc ends right now. Not even ignoring that though,
The Boruto.
they have literally introduced plot points such as the future vision of Kawaki with a horn and blood on his face staring down at presumably Boruto that have not happened yet. This is something that happens before the time skip because he literally doesn't have a mullet and he looks the same age as he was before. So to have a time skip, we would be skipping over something they specifically introduced as something that will happen. We also have I'm just covering the main points here. There's also the main overarching threat, you could say, of Boruto's prophecy to lose everything. And it amounted to Boruto saying, nah, it never happened. And I'm like, they need to fix that. That would just ruin Momoshiki's prophecy. Just period. It just is awful if that is it. It's just, that's it. It's horrible. So I hope to God that they continue the arc and they finish the story arc and where Momoshiki's prophecy is going to end a lot better than it was. That's a very general, vague explanation. If you want to know the full explanation, I'll send you a link when I finish my video. It's literally, it's already 40 pages long.
Oh,
the longest video I've ever made. Dude, wait till you get to the analogies portion too. Like, every time I write, the more I laugh. That's just all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's even funny.
Here's a better way to put it: the Boruto story will just be so much better if they continue the arc. But just look at it positively in that sense. Just continuing the arc gives it the potential to be a way better story.
Talking on some specific points, Trippy, I know you made a time skip video. Did you want to talk on any of the points you listed there, or any of the comments or anything?
Well, I just talked about how we haven't seen Amato's reaction at all, and we kind of need to. Like, what is
that's
Amato
one of
think
that's a big one too. Oh, and
Omnipotence?
don't worry, I'm gonna take the Amato stuff further than we've ever talked about in earlier podcasts, because I've come up with like 50 more things that I've never thought of before, like, writing this video.
Oh God.
Okay, what if they do this right after the time skip, like during like the actual like like a day, like all throughout the chapters after like chapter 80, they kind of go back and forth towards like things that are happening in the present, like during like let's say.
So that's not a
Boruto.
time skip. That I'm actually making this disclaimer at the beginning of my video. That's a flash forward scene. If it starts off as teenage Boruto and he starts thinking about what happened in the past and we cut back to the present again, that's not a time skip. That's a flash forward scene. Otherwise, you have to concede that the time skip already happened, because all of part 1 of Boruto is a flashback from the flash forward scene. So we're either already in the time skip, or that would be another flash forward scene.
I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, that wouldn't be a time skip, because, like I said, it would be the exact same thing as chapter 1. So
exactly, because the anime
do
itself started off with them being quote unquote in the future. So the entirety of the Boruto manga that we've been seeing and reading right now has been essentially in the past. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean, technically speaking, the way Boruto talks is as if he is recounting the events of the past. Because he says, like, it all started on this day, or whatever he says. Yeah. So, like, I'm not going to count it as a flashback, because it's not. It technically is, but it also isn't really. It's more so that was a flash forward scene. But, like, either way, it would just be the same situation if they do that. So I'm not going to count that as a time skip. Everyone will say, no, it's a time skip, but they're just wrong. If they immediately flash back to the past again, it's not a time skip.
And you brought up a point earlier, especially with the Boruto like prophecy and everything. Like, I remember even talking about that with Momoshiki, which is like something kind of weird. It's like, because you remember like how at the end of the chapter, like Momoshiki is like so shocked and like angry that Boruto's essentially like defying this. But my thing was kind of like, okay, if this is supposed to be your prophecy, you're supposed to know exactly what happened. So why is he behaving like he didn't expect this to happen? You know what I mean? So like that was kind of weird to see Momoshiki behaving that way.
It is weird. My hope is that he's essentially jumping the gun. Like, he saw visions, and now that Boruto's reacting this way, he probably didn't see Boruto's reaction. He probably assumed it, and now he's worried that the whole thing's not happening right. My hope is that something bad will still happen, and he'll realize, oh, I didn't actually lose. I thought I did, like, essentially. Whereas Boruto is the opposite, where he thinks he wins, and then he realizes he didn't. That's my hope. But I can't guarantee that.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, so this must mean that, and even the whole concept of Shinjutsu, right? You're just kind of like sitting there, okay, it's like, how many different like Shinjutsu abilities are there, right? I was kind of sitting there thinking, does Momoshiki have some kind of ability to control like some kind of omnipotent style of ability, whether it's omnipotence itself or something else, where he's able to kind of either predict events that happen in the future or see them just happen in the future? But to your point, maybe he only saw up to a certain portion, but didn't really see Boruto's reaction and behavior, which leads to him kind of freaking out and yelling like, what the fuck are you doing? No, you're supposed to be losing right now. Why are you having all this confidence and shit? And you're like, no, I'm about to come back and, change all this shit. Like, that's why I kind of see like him being that shocked.
Yeah, and part of the reason why I think he might be jumping the gun is because the future vision hasn't finished. As I mentioned, there's that Kawaki panel that hasn't happened yet. So, technically speaking, the event is not all the spectacle. If that vision that Boruto saw is the spectacle is not complete yet. So, he very well might just be jumping the gun. And that's what I'm hoping for. But if we have a time skip, it really just messes that up. Because, like I said, if we're having a time skip, we're not talking about a flash forward scene. That means that we skip in time and we continue forward. That means that we just don't get that scene. And even if we, for anyone who's going to say, oh, Boruto's future has changed, that would be fine if either Boruto or Momoshiki commented on the fact that the Kawaki scene hasn't happened yet, but nobody has. And so essentially, they need to either talk about it or really they need to show it. Like, it needs to actually happen. But the bare minimum, they need to talk about it.
There's just so many loose ends compared to part 1 where everything's answered. So, for example, we need Himawari's reaction. We just randomly cut away from her. Like, Mitsuki just randomly goes off into the forest and sage mode into the time skip. That's the last time we see him.
There's a lot.
Dude, Himawari.
And there's probably 20. Oh, here's an easy one. Who's the next Hokage? Every time the Hokage died or was in a coma or anything, immediately everybody's just like, who's the next Hokage? Who's the next Hokage? Yeah, in this case, nobody even talks about it. We don't know.
It's like when Sakon and Ukon go down the cliff to fight Kiba or whatever when they're blowing up. Imagine we just never, ever cut back to them. No Kabuto, no Kiba fight, nothing. You just don't see them again until the time skip.
Oh,
it's like, wait,
there's so many more. Yeah, fine, there's a lot of these that we can come up with, like, in various aspects. Like,
I know.
We don't, like, just in the okay, like I said, I don't want to explain everything because I have a lot, but, like, let's talk about people's training over time skip. Only Boruto has any inkling of who he's training with and why. Kawaki, who is he training with? How is he going to get stronger? Why? First of all, why does he want to get stronger? He can already beat Boruto now. But, like, even if he just decided to train, who is he training with? Was he going to spar with Daemon? That's the only option, I guess, or Amato modifications. Well, that hasn't been set up yet. What is Himawari going to do? If Himawari is to become a ninja, don't you think we should get the moment of her getting the resolve to become a ninja? A hypothetical comparison would be like Sakura. Oh, she just doesn't know that Sasuke left the village. She doesn't cry and ask Naruto to save him. She doesn't realize that Naruto failed in gain the resolve to get stronger and all this shit. No, we just don't see any of it. We just cut to the time skip. Same for literally every character of the generation. Freaking Neji, Kiba, Rock Lee, Shino. They all have motivations to get stronger over the time skip, and they're all outright stated. There's none of that in Boruto. There's so many things, dude. There are like 50 things that don't happen.
I just when you brought up time skip training, my mind literally just flashed back to how Naruto spent 2.5 years and didn't learn jack shit from Jiraiya. And I'm just like, if I see that with Boruto, if I see that with Boruto, if Boruto returns back to the village and hasn't learned jack shit and is just like taller and some fucking hand-me-down fucking clothes with his ankles showing just like Naruto was, like, I'm like, bro, you're too damn big for your clothes, bruh. That's the only thing that's changed. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be like annoyed. I'm like, yo, if Naruto returns back, like, if Boruto returns back to the village just like Naruto, not learning jack shit, that's gonna be annoying as hell. Like, the whole point of the time skip is to actually showcase what you've been doing in the time skip. Like, Sasuke pulled up and showcased different things he learned. Time skip, right? Oh, Sasuke is much faster. He's much stronger. He's learned different jutsu. You know what I mean? Naruto returns back, hasn't learned jack shit. He's like, yeah, you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm just like walking around or whatnot. I don't know, following Jiraiya or what. Like, what the fuck was the point of that?
You got a slightly stronger.
I hope I don't see that with Boruto. Yeah, right. and then you know what the funniest part is? During the fucking sparring match that Kakashi had with Naruto and Sasuke, when Naruto came back to the village, they try to have Kakashi start capping, acting like Naruto actually learned something. Like, oh, Naruto's never been this proficient with his Shadow Clone jutsu before. He's using them so much better. I'm like, wait, no, stop.
He did have one moment of that when Naruto uses a Shadow Clone in midair, but then Kakashi immediately after takes him out, so it doesn't matter.
Like, Naruto made a bridge of clones.
Yeah.
That was like, you know what I mean? Like, during the fight against Sasuke when he was 12 years old. That scene with him, like, throwing his other clone in the air when he's 15, that's nothing. Like, that's
to be fair, that was also not in the manga. The manga did do a few different things different in that fight compared to the anime.
Got you. Yeah,
But like,
I
it's in
mean,
the movies
honestly,
and everything. If we're the anime is just a different timeline basically, so we'll just use the anime
shit.
anyways. Yeah.
type shit. Honestly, man, I swear, it's just it's funny to see. But no, we'll see what happens. I think they said it comes back. Like what is it? Late August.
Yeah, August
Manga
20th.
returns like late August 20th. Yeah.
And keep in mind,
So I mean,
the
we'll
time skip
see.
hasn't
I
been
also heard
confirmed
the
yet.
21st, so I don't know what day it is.
Well, okay, well, if realistically, we're probably going to get on the 17th through leaks, but
Yes. If anything, we're gonna start getting leaks by next week. If anything, we just started getting leaks. Actually.
oh, actually,
People were
perfect.
talking about how Sarada looks like and all this shit.
Perfect segue. I'm glad you mentioned this. Actually, it's been confirmed. We have a confirmed release date for the time skip. So I'll share my screen here. We're going to the Gamerant article now.
But I can't. Oh wait, yeah, no.
Oh yeah, the reliable source of Gamerant has blessed us with more information regarding the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex arc release date. So this is after they confirmed the Minato release date, and then Kishimoto, bless his heart, something happened behind the scenes where Kishimoto had to delay it to where they happened to be wrong, Gamerant. But no, Gamerant was right, and then it just so happened to have to be delayed because of real life circumstances. But no, Gamerant, notoriously known for their correct information, has blessed us with even more insider details where they interviewed Kishimoto himself just for this exclusive interview, to where Gamerant, of all places, is the one to reveal this information. So thankfully, Gamerant release date confirmed of the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex arc. Let's see what they have to say. So the official Naruto Twitter announcement, blah, 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 August 2023. New arc called Blue 2 Vortex. You get the time skip image here, and then two random other images they cropped from other chapters. Anyways, so okay, Sarada's new design was leaked. Yeah, true. The Boruto manga went on hiatus. Yeah, we know Kishimoto took over 2020. All right, but let's get to this release date. Release on August 21st. So that's where you got it from, Conway. You got it from Gamerant. They're the ones where...
Well, actually, no, I got it
Obviously.
from a Twitter post that may have gotten it from Gamerant, but
Listen, no, yeah, the Twitter post got it from Gamerant because Gamerant is the one with the reliable information. Remember, they're the ones that told us when the Minato manga was coming out, and then it came out. Like
when did they say it was coming out again?
Like 2 weeks before it did. But again, that's because the Minato manga releasers had to delay it for 2 weeks. It was supposed to come out at that time. Because otherwise, why would Gamerant say that? It's not like they would lie. You think they're Gamerant? You think Gamerant's gonna make stuff up, Kamui? Are you questioning?
Yeah,
the validity?
That's like some CBR shit.
Exactly.
Like CBR, yeah, like CBR. Those are the motherfuckers that just be saying anything.
Yeah, Gamerant wouldn't do
like,
that.
Yeah, but Gamerant is different, okay? They never lie. Ever.
Man, they're dissing Kishimoto here too. Even Kishimoto's return did not do any miracles for the manga. Sheesh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, they were pretty harsh. I only read that part way. I was like,
yeah, I mean, I don't fully agree with that. It's pretty evident how bad Boruto was when it was just Ikimoto, and things actually like legitimately got better when Kishimoto like returned. Now, granted, I'm not saying like Boruto like turned into like some amazing anime, but it definitely became better. Like the content, the dialogue, a lot of the different scenes definitely improved when Kishimoto returned. So, but they are partially right because they still are kind of disrespecting the previous generation. So,
well, we could talk Kishimoto versus Kodachi in a minute here, but real quick, because I'm just reading this bolt stuff. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let me just start by asking you, what do you guys think Sarada is wearing in terms of the jacket? I mean,
because they say it's inspired by the Akatsuki cloak, because they have the insider information.
Because everybody says this. Everybody thinks it's the Akatsuki cloak for some reason. What do you all think it is? Okay, then I'll tell you what I think it is.
Well, everyone says it because Gamerant confirmed it. It's objectively correct. because Gamerant says it. So it can't be anything else. But I originally thought it was Boruto's jacket, or just a new jacket. Like it's just its own whatever thing.
That's initially what I thought too. And then people started talking about the whole, it could be inspired by Itachi. You see how her fucking hand is hanging out of her sleeve, just like Itachi used to do.
Do you even see her hand? Like,
no, no.
People just say that.
Fucking run their mouths, man. It's like
everyone's like posting. I'm like, dude, we don't even see this shit. I'm like we're literally. She has, yeah, I don't know. It looks like Boruto's jacket in the manga.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what I thought it was. But I guess it could be the whole. I hope it's not anything Akatsuki related because they've already done this a few times. Where it's like,
where's she gonna get an Akatsuki cloak? She gonna go to Shin Uchiha's house and see if he's got a leftover ripped up one?
Saying. But yeah, I mean, she was there.
All the Akatsuki cloaks are destroyed by now. They got like stab wounds, blood, and shit. She's not wearing that.
She's gonna pull up. She's gonna pull up to Nagato's. She's gonna pull up to Nagato's corpse and just like nab that shit. Like, hey,
frankly,
bro,
does Sarada even know the Akatsuki exists? Considering all the censorship that they've done with like the past.
I don't think she does. I don't think she does.
I don't think she's got the club, dude.
Dude, they've gone out of their way to like essentially hide so many things that happened from the previous generation, from like the current gen, and I don't know why. It's like they barely talk about the Fourth War. They don't mention Itachi. They don't mention like so many different events that happened. And I'm thinking like this is like you're supposed to be using those events to create a whole bunch of like turmoil, in the current state of the village. You know what I mean? Like imagine if they use like the whole like the true events that happened for the Uchiha massacre. Imagine like that suddenly gets out and everyone knows the truth about Itachi, the truth about what happened to the Uchiha clan. Imagine the reactions from everybody. You know what I mean? Like that's how you're supposed to like really push the story forward instead of just like pushing it down, pretending it doesn't fucking exist, and it's like, that was just like some filler shit that happened. I forget about that. Boruto has a new Rasengan, by the way. Did you guys see it? He vanishes and turns back into. It's like what? Okay, but like, are we gonna acknowledge anything that happened, in the previous 30 years or no? Okay.
Something else. I think it just in general matches her color scheme in general of red and black. Like I don't think it's necessarily anything specific. But also,
it happens to look like Boruto's jacket, but it could just be a random jacket.
What did you guys initially?
She wears a red and black outfit in the anime.
What did you guys think of her manga here when we first saw it?
I mean, I think it's good.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that shit. I thought it was fine.
Oh, do we like it?
Yeah, I did a whole 50-minute review a few weeks ago.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah, no. It was more of like debunking a hater on Twitter, but yeah. Yeah. Where I just go over like, because I'm like a screenwriter, that's like my thing. So I went over like the narrative of why it makes sense and why it's important, why it's good, etc., etc.
I mean, I still didn't like the Mangekyo scene. I'm gonna be upfront about that. I didn't like it, but
well, Kamui for whatever reason thinks it has anything to do with Naruto when it's or with Boruto when it's clearly just about the fact that Naruto died, so it's consistent. Fight me, Kamui.
That is the thing it's the only thing she didn't comment on. The only thing she talked about
was
so
stunned in shock of her emotions. She couldn't even talk about it.
Either way, Oodie, even if Sarada had been like, no, my idol died, and she started complaining about it, I would still consider it my least favorite Mangekyo Awakening because she didn't watch it happen. So it just already isn't gonna hit me as hard as like when Obito watched Rin die.
Man, Kami, remember when Obito watched Rin die and he didn't comment on it immediately? Man, remember when Rin didn't say, man, remember when Obito didn't say, Rin, you're dead now. Now I'm awakening my Mangekyo. Ah. Remember when he said that?
Alright, Obito in the same like chapter and episode clearly had a reaction to Rin's death. Okay.
Yeah, remember when he said out loud, "I'm reacting to your death right now, Rin"? Man, that was such an impactful moment.
Yeah, the thing, the problem though, Oodie, is Sarada specifically is reacting to Boruto stuff. Like, she's discussing, talking, like,
she's
everything
not.
she's verbally
She's
talking
just like,
about
"Oh, this is
related
weird.
to
This is
Boruto. It's really not to
confusing."
Naruto.
No,
You can't deny
she's
that
chasing after
clearly
me.
she had the strongest reaction in regards to Boruto.
When she hears about
Yeah.
Naruto, she falls to the ground. She falls to her knees. She can't even stand up, and she starts crying. She's unable to move. She's unable to do anything. She can't even process it. She can't even think.
Oodie, honestly, we can discuss that all we want. It still wouldn't change. Like I said, even if Sarada just was talking about Naruto's supposed death more than anything else, I would still say it's my least favorite. Why? She didn't watch it happen. That alone packs a punch.
Okay,
Just
Madara
watching it
didn't
happen
watch
packs more of a punch
Izuna
than being
happen.
told to happen.
Madara didn't watch his brother die.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. Prove it. It's not on screen. We don't see it happen.
We literally.
What about
we literally
Fugaku?
see-
Was
Izuna
Fugaku's
doesn't-
awakening
Izuna-
better? What about
Izuna doesn't
Shisui's
literally
awakening?
die that moment. Madara carries his wounded body.
Yeah, back
Let me-
to the,
let me go
to
find the
their house
chapter,
tent camp hut thing.
But like,
And then
Izuna
Izuna
just go
gives him
find the
his
chapter.
eyes,
But
and then
Izuna
they cut
didn't
to
die
the
on the
next
spot
day.
in the Tobirama fight. He doesn't die on the spot.
I know.
Yeah.
You're
Madara
not
watches
listening.
Izuna die.
You're not listening to the things I already said, and I refuse to repeat them, so I'm just moving on. So what about Shisui? Was
What did you
Shisui's
say?
awakening better? No, it's too late. You'll just have to go back and re-listen to the stream. You should do the timestamps while I'm at it.
Okay, so anyway, like, I don't know what happened here, but all I know is Madara did watch Izuna die.
What about Shin's Mangekyo awakening? Was his awakening way more impactful for you, Kamui?
Shin is weird. I don't know how he got. I think he might have just. I don't even know if they're actually his Mangekyo. They might just be someone else's. I don't know. I
Okay,
have to
so
reread
what I
everything
hear
now.
is a GG concession. GG, nice debate. And
No, the only thing you're getting out of that is maybe Shin's is worse, but Shin's is different because it's not implied like he awakened it. It's more like he stole it. So it's different.
Maybe.
Because like by that logic, it'd be like, okay, Danzo's is the worst, but it's like he just stole Shizu. I'm not gonna count that as Danzo's Mangekyo awakening. You know what I mean?
Listen, it was a reveal. So it's Mangekyo awakening reveal.
Also, dude, Madara immediately looks over at Izuna when Tobirama stabs him and he carries him away and he dies later, okay?
Yeah!
Like...
We don't see him dying. It doesn't happen on screen. You're not listening, Kamui. It's in the
Okay, but he
campsite
obviously saw him die.
camp thing.
He was
Why
carrying
would
his
he?
body.
Why would he sit there and watch his brother die after he took his eyes? Why is he going to just do that? He's going to leave. That's his
he doesn't-
dying brother who he
probably
loves.
just was
He
like,
doesn't
I don't
want
know, dude.
him to
It's
die.
Madara.
He doesn't want to see it.
Madara definitely
He doesn't
saw
want
him
to
die.
see it.
Okay,
He
let's
does.
be
He
real.
does.
so-
What do you
wait,
mean?
so-
Definitely.
wait, so-
You can argue
so
maybe
he's
he
just-
saw it. I
so
would
he-
argue it's
so
not
you
in his
say he-
character.
So you say he's just gonna look in eyes and just like leave his like dying corpse just like there. It's like, all right, I'm about to go back on the battlefield, but you know, enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Later,
This
bro.
dude, what? This guy listened to Izuna's dying words. Okay, Madara did not just like, all right, Izuna, I'm gonna leave. You can die later.
Right.
He watched.
Oh my god.
He was there until the final moment. Let's be real. Considering how much Madara loved his brother to the point that it made him into the villain he became, or the antagonist, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I think he was listening to his brother's dying breaths. Okay, he was there, and he's probably sobbing after, right next to his dead body. And then, like,
It was
the
the
newfound
main-
resolve to keep fighting.
like you said, it was the main reason why Madara returned, because people say like, oh, Madara returned because he didn't like really agree with like Hashirama and shit. And it's like, that's part of it. But in reality, it's because he didn't really have any connection to anybody else in the village. You know what I mean? Because right before, like, you know, when Hashirama and Madara are like kids, like standing over that fucking like where the Hidden Leaf village is going to be established, he's like talking about, yeah, I only have like one more brother left, and like that's who I'm here like to protect and shit. But after Izuna dies, he really loses any connection. Yes, of course, there's other Uchiha and shit, like they're presumably like his cousins or whatever. But like, they're not like, direct blood relatives anymore. All those people have been killed off. And it's all been coincidentally by the Senju clan, this same clan that he just chose to like become in this alliance with. So he probably had like these like mixed feelings of like, yeah, I know I started this shit, but the whole point of me starting this shit was to protect my brother, and that motherfucker Tobirama killed him. So you know what?
And not only that though, it's like Tobirama is like the prime example of people not trusting Madara, and even his own clan didn't really trust him. Like, there's a lot of factors in Madara developing his ideology, but like.
All right, we can move on to the next topic now. Okay, now that we've proven that Madara is definitely didn't see his brother die, he's confirmed 100%. All right, so what if neglected godlike Naruto trained seriously? What do you think about that, JIRO?
What if neglected godlike? So hold on, you got to break this down. What do you mean by this title? Like,
well, it's not what I
just
mean
listen.
It's just what if neglected godlike Naruto trained seriously? What if? I'm just asking you. What if?
I mean, yeah, but like, what do you mean by that though?
Well,
isn't it obvious?
Yeah.
Nah, you guys are acting like it is.
Do we need to repeat the sentence? Is that okay? Oodie, repeat it again.
All right, so what if neglected godlike Naruto trained seriously?
So, I mean, like, nah, you guys gotta, like, explain what you mean. Like, are you talking about, like, if Naruto was, like, Gaara and was completely, like, neglected in that type of way? Like, what do you mean by that?
Hold on. Oodie, where'd you post that again? Okay, let me
topics.
Let me try to phrase it slightly different. I'll phrase it in a different tone. What if? No. Hold on, let me try it again.
You got it.
What if Naruto neglected trained seriously godlike?
Yeah, what if that? JIRO, your answer?
Dude,
or what if neglected godlike Naruto trained seriously? Whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, so what if Naruto neglected trained seriously godlike? That's the question here.
If he didn't train, well, I'll say this: if he didn't train seriously, he's fucking dead. Okay, period, point blank, end of story. Which is, and to even kind of like talk about, like, on a little bit of a tangent, like people kind of talk, like, I remember that what's his name, Gripes of Wrath or whatever, that dropped that video talking about like Naruto isn't a fucking underdog or any of this shit. Like, that's that dumbass video, right? And I'm referencing it because, part of the video talks about like Naruto, like, kind of had a lot of the shit handed to him, and he was, kind of just meant to be where he was, which is not true at all. If Naruto doesn't train,
hard work versus talent, though. Just
look
at
what I mean?
Gawa.
You know what I mean, bro? Like, it's like the dumbest argument in the world. I'm just sitting there like, wait, if Naruto doesn't train, the Akatsuki invade the fucking village, kidnap Naruto, kill his ass, take the fucking Nine Tails, the series is done. Blink end of story. You know what I mean? So it's just like, to bring it back to this point here, like, Naruto required to train. He needed to do this shit, So that's why, like, I just laugh at some people that kind of reference like him not being like like an underdog, or like having him like needing like he didn't need to do what he needed to do in order to get to where he was. Like the motherfucker had like a whole bunch of shit working against him, and he overcame all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you got to give the guy credit for at least doing that much.
I definitely agree with you. However, I'm very curious about, though, what if Naruto neglected trained seriously godlike?
I don't know.
What about
do you
this?
guys mean?
Can we explain,
Okay, no. Calm me. I got one more for him. So this is a completely different question. Completely different, okay? So what if Naruto neglected the godlike train?
I agree.
What do you think happens then? Yeah,
how
does that change? Yeah, how does that shake it up?
Godlike train.
Yeah, so what if Naruto neglected it? What happens then? Welcome back, Trippy.
Hello.
Bruh, y'all must be
Nah.
trolling right. Y'all must be trolling right now, bruh. Y'all gotta be trolling.
No,
What do you
no.
mean by the godlike training though? Are you saying like he would? Like, what do you mean by that?
Not the training, the train. What if Naruto neglected it?
The train from the movie, like Naruto Clash in the Ninja Land. It's like, what train are you talking?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Bro, y'all trolling right now, bro. Y'all trolling right now, bro. Because that's not what y'all.
All right, Conway, you can show him now. We've had
Okay,
enough
so-
fun with this.
Well, actually, why don't I just send you this screenshot?
Naruto neglected train seriously godlike.
Go to the chat of our Discord.
All right, I'm just sharing my screen. I've been technically you've been able to see
Oh.
it for the past while. But yeah, just
No.
go to chat. You'll see.
Oh, it's in the chat now too.
Let's see this now.
It's the bottom.
It just has to do with this title and thumbnail. This random video.
Oh, for real. Yo, like. I knew y'all were trolling, bro. I knew y'all were trolling. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like, train godlike? You for a second, I'm like, they're talking about Jiraiya's training? That motherfucker didn't do shit.
You know what? Actually, Oodie, I wish that we
Naruto
watched this video. I wish we watched the video to see what it like talks about.
I have no idea. It's 2 hours. We can't.
It's a 2-hour-long video.
Yeah, 2 hours 16 minutes.
Holy crap!
That's a
I
lot
wonder
of
if he ever
things.
says those exact words in that order at any point in the video.
I don't know why. There's just so many of these random videos on here. Like the other day, I think Kitomaki posted. I forget who posted it, but someone posted a video of what if Naruto was rejected by Azula?
Oh yeah.
Wait, no. You know what you guys are talking about? If you guys are on Quora, I don't know if any of you guys are.
Laura?
That's where I see a lot of those types of questions.
Yeah, I make
I'm
fun
just
of
like-
Korra often on here. Don't worry.
Oodie is
Naruto
Quora is
awakened
Oodie's favorite
Kamaga?
source.
Let me see.
I'm looking at this dude's channel and he does this on like every video.
What the weird title?
Yeah, they're all strange.
I'm sure
They
he
make
like
no sense.
Let me look.
non-English for the most part.
He what?
He's probably just not English.
What if Naruto fused
Oh, yeah,
Sharingan
probably.
Rinnegan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Dude, what if Naruto was neglected and a wolf sage? What if Naruto was neglected hidden prodigy? What if Naruto was neglected and had Mokuto? What is it with the Naruto neglected aspect of this? Everyone, what if Naruto was
He's always
neglected and the
neglected.
God of Ten Paths? What if Naruto was neglected and Ice God? What if Naruto was neglected and Rikudo's Age God? Wait, geez, this neglecting Naruto, I don't know what it is.
And they're all like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Bro's on his grind.
Naruto neglected hates his family.
Oh man, the
What if
green
Naruto
thumbnails are so
neglected
impossible to
Lightning
read.
Dragon?
Dude, hold on. What if, dude, this is a long what if series. What if Naruto was a Namikaze prodigy? Part 1 is 3.5 hours. Part 2 is just under 2 hours. That's nearly 5.5 hours of this what if. Holy shit, dude.
insane.
I thought my script was long for this video I'm
Oh
writing.
my god.
Now, this guy goes insane on his scripts.
Holy
Some-
shit,
some-
like, what does he say?
Somebody asked what would happen if Naruto had a fight with Kisame and Itachi instead of Sasuke in Boruto the movie. I'm like, what?
Hmm?
Itachi and Kisame are fucking dead. What are you talking about?
A lot of people like to say things.
Does that have anything to do with this? Dude, people ask like some of the weirdest questions. Oh my gosh. It's funny as shit to see. But no, honestly, I think it's just like a lot of like non-English speakers just like putting together words, like
Yeah.
making that shit like make sense. And I'm just like, yeah.
There's a
go
lot
ahead
of
and
like
read this question, bro.
especially weird channels of like group chats of people like role playing and texting each other or whatever, and that's like the whole video. I don't know, it's weird. make it a bad segue. So, Trippy, your video that we were talking about, right? That's a cool video that you were talking about. Your is this? Yeah, your Boruto's time skip is gonna be really bad. Remember talking about that? Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, as you can imagine, I went off in the comment sections.
Oh yeah.
I was arguing with someone that it's like the Akatsuki. Someone was arguing, oh, the Akatsuki is loose ends in Naruto Part 1. They didn't wrap everything up in a neat bow. It's the same thing as Vortex. No, it's not the same, because we knew what the Akatsuki was planning on doing. We knew when they were planning on doing it, and we knew why they weren't doing it now. And then we
the whole setup for the time skip is there for both the protagonist and all of her known antagonists in Naruto. Like, even Tenten has a reason to train, okay, because their teammates training. It's a pretty weak one. Like, I'll give you 10 10s is pretty ass.
Tenten wanted to be like Tsunade.
Iba, Veggie, all of them, even not the main characters.
That's actually Neji's character arc. Is in Shippuden, she realized that she doesn't have to become a ninja like Tsunade. That was her
Speaking
whole
of Neji, speaking of Neji, I'm actually gonna drop a video breaking down why the Hyuga clan was completely wasted and what a fully fleshed out version of the Hyuga clan could have looked like.
Okay.
That shit, yeah, because like that shit actually annoys me. Like it Naruto Shippuden literally just turned into like basically like Dragon Ball, where it's like the Goku and Vegeta show, and like everyone else doesn't matter. It's like, when did Naruto and Sasuke become the only characters that fucking matter? It's like, I get it. The two main characters, we got it. There's other people here too, though.
To be fair, the
Kishimoto's
Goku
like,
Vegeta show didn't really start till the Buu saga. But then in Dragon Ball Super, he still does quite a few things. He's in a lot of arcs, and then especially the Tournament of Power, he does a ton of stuff. And then the latest movie he's literally the protagonist. So there you go.
But okay, so perfect. I'm happy you actually focus on that. Let's focus on that movie for a second, right? That movie, the latest movie that came out, this Dragon Ball Super whatever. Fuck, how many times did we say super in the movie? Anyway, so it's like the movie essentially is like an hour and 30 minutes focusing on all the complaints and issues everyone has been having about Gohan all these years. Think about it. What is Piccolo's biggest issue with Gohan? He's not training. He's not focusing on what the fuck he's supposed to be doing. He's focusing all his time on his studies and his job and shit. The motherfucker's not even paying attention to his family, which leads to all this extra nonsense going on, right? It's like, it's literally like detailing all the shit that we've been talking about. And kind of like bring it back to why I think like Toriyama is capping, is because you look at the way Gohan was at the end of the Cell Saga. Gohan was like, I think he was probably the most popular character at that point in time in the series, right? Gohan has always been my favorite character. But if you look at Gohan at the end of the Cell Saga and what he was after the time skip, those are two fucking different people. Those are two different people. That is not the same Gohan that we saw at the end of the Cell Saga. He's much more passive. He's a fucking goofball character. Gohan has never been a goofball character. You go back and watch OG Dragon Ball, Gohan's not a fucking goofball character. Like, you grew up like, you know, timid and shy and shit, but he's never been like some kind of comic relief. That was Krillin. You know what I mean? So they basically took Gohan, put him into this role that he's never been in, and made him into a complete fucking joke of a character. And then you sit there and act like, oh no, Gohan has never really been in that role of like, he couldn't really fit the role of a main character. Bullshit, dude. Everyone was fucking with Gohan at the end of the Cell Saga. The thing is, you took his character, you completely did this 180 like change, made him into a fucking goofball that doesn't take training seriously, even though he, like, him not taking his training seriously, like, he learned a whole bunch of harsh realities and truths from that, to where like you would think, okay, maybe he's gonna like evolve and like take that seriously. He's like, no, he just actually like progressed as a character. It just like, it didn't make sense how he just like evolved as a person, or rather I would say devolved in this sense, right? Because like the way he behaves just doesn't make any sense, and it really isn't in line with how he was like at the end of the Cell Saga. So I don't know, man. It's just it's complete. It's just nonsense, to be honest. But
yeah. So I did see the movie in theaters. 5 minutes into the movie, I was pretty bored, so I decided to turn it into a video. Haven't actually released a video, but it's already completely scripted out. I just got to record it, then edit it. I rated the movie out of 10 a 2.55.
Damn.
So where this movie executed or failed to execute is in the carding. So carding is a screenwriting technique. It's how this movie's structured. So I'm sure you've heard like the 3-act structure before, beginning, middle, end, etc., etc. It gets way more complicated than that. There's the 4-act structure, the 5-act structure, the 8-act structure, the 24-act structure. There's all these different structures. It's so many things. So this isn't the most, but it's, I think, the second most, because I think the most is like over 100. It's like 150. Anyways, the second most longest structure is a technique called carding. It's where you divide the story beats into 40 different segments that happen across your story on specific pages, mind you, because it's like a minute per page is typically the average length of a screenplay. So if the movie's like 110 minutes long, it's about 110 pages. So then you would just divide that into 40 different cards. And the cards would be like general summaries or highlights, specific points to hit. But this is how this movie was structured. It's through the carding technique, through the 40 different story beats. And yeah, that's if you want to hear more, you'll have to hear my analysis of these 40 different beats and where they did or didn't hit the mark. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Dragon Ball movie. 2.55. Not the worst, not the best.
Damn, you hate that shit more than me.
No. For record, my rating system is skewed below most people's rating system because a 5 for me is average. But if everyone else hears a 5 out of 10, oh, that movie was mid. It's bad. I'm not going to go see a 5 out of 10 movie. So the point of movies is the average of all movies should be good. It should be like a 7 or 8 out of 10. And that is generally how most rating people do see movies. Oh, it's a 7 out of 10 movie? That's like an average movie. No, for me, that's a movie that is above average. So there you go.
Okay, so for reference, what is a movie that you've rated like very highly?
Very highly.
Naruto the Last.
Any Naruto movie. So Naruto the Last, I rated a 9.98. But let me give you a different example. A movie that is a 5 point something, which is still above average. So Toy Story 3, a 5.27. Madagascar 1, a 5.82. Which one?
OG Madagascar, okay.
Sonic Movie 2, a 5.03. The Incredibles 2, is it exactly at a 5?
Dog,
what about the SpongeBob SquarePants movie?
Oh, that's really high, actually. That's a 9 point something. Very, very top.
Hell yeah.
9.87, the original SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
That shit's a goated ass movie,
yes,
bro.
Sir. I'm going to have 2 different videos on the SpongeBob movie, over an hour long, both of them. It's going to be so good. Already scripted them out as well. I script out a lot of my videos.
Bro, I remember when that movie was being like released and shit, man. I was like, gosh, I don't remember. I think I was like,
dude, I've watched that movie like so many times, and it's just always good. Like, it's just good.
I don't know if it's nostalgia or if they really did just go back and remaster the colors, art style, or something. It just looks beautiful. It definitely
it looks dope as hell, doesn't it? I'm like even watching it like in like right now, like you're like, damn, the animation style is like really nice.
They must have remastered it or did compositing or something. But
oh, really?
The third one, I have a script that's also very long of why it's the worst movie of all time. Not really, but like, you know, Sponge on the Run. It's like the CGI movie or something. I forget what it is, but something.
Oh, is that the one where they look like 3D?
Yeah, it's the one where they search for Gary. You probably haven't seen it.
No, I haven't watched that one.
See, Sponge on the Run, I rated a 2.21. That is below the freaking Dragon Ball movie.
Nah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. But nah, I mean, like, yeah, that makes sense, though. But yeah, no, to your point, though, people look at it in the sense of, like, anything under 6.5 is a bad movie, basically.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, if we're being as, you know, honest as possible, that's not true. If you're properly rating things, that's not true.
Yeah, like a 5 should be like, to be average, it's the middle of the road.
Yeah, so for example, a 5.01 is a good movie. So,
basically.
Because my 5 is other people's 7s or 8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So anyone's 0 would be a -2 on yours.
Exactly.
Anyone's 0 would be like you contacting the director of the film and like just cursing him out, like the fact that you
Sue
like
them.
you dare like bring this shit out to theaters, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? How dare you, bro?
All right, so I showed this to Trippy, but not all of it, because I wanted to confirm you could see it, because I wanted to make sure that the YouTube AI robots or whatever didn't auto flag my comment for being too mean. So that's how you know it's gonna be good. Just like the Attack on Titan episode, that's like viewer discretion is advised. This one's terroristic. So that's how you know it's gonna be good. Okay.
I was using this AI tool to like type out like a title for me for like the when I was talking about the Minato is like the Minato manga is like terrible, and the shit was like, we're not gonna actually give you keywords for that because that's a negative title and we don't want to like offend the people that like the I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We used AI last and it was really fun. No, I'm a huge defender.
That was
of
pretty
AI,
funny.
trust me. We haven't debated it yet on the
AI
podcast. I wanted to devote a
AI is
whole
politically correct
thing to
now.
that. It's crazy.
That's politically correct.
No, it's a
That's-
whole debate. Trust me, I'll get into that in another stream. It's its own devoted stream. It's gonna be a 12-hour stream. I'm telling you right now. Okay. Okay. So user XX3, they say bros and Naruto simp, referring to Trippy because this is Trippy's video, which is a very good video. Everyone should go check it out. Of Boruto's time skip is gonna be really bad. Scrolling back down.
No, that's a
He
bad.
says that. Izumi. So keep Izumi's name in mind because it's Oodie versus Izumi. That's the name of the segment. So or something like that. So Izumi says, this is where the conversation really starts. Oh well, really quick. I guess I'll just address the first guy first. So we'll get to Izumi. So Trippy's response to the first guy: Naruto simp is crazy considering I've been a Boruto defender since day one. W Trippy. And in fact, I'm gonna like that comment. I hope user X3 feels bad about that. Get ratioed, kid. Oh, by the way, you also say mostly clickbait, but I do have some legit concerns about the plot points mentioned. So you literally admit it. So it's literally just fine. So he's just freaking out for nothing. Yeah. So shut up, user. Yeah. So I say to them, bro's a hater, skull emoji, because he put the skull emoji, so I had to. Kinda weird, dude. And I think that's the last we hear from him. I don't think he ever comes back up. But okay, there's enough spoilers. Okay. So, as a matter of fact, can I zoom in? Kind of. A little bit. There we go. That's better for stream. And probably for you, since you're watching my screen. Okay, so go back to Izumi here. So Izumi says, with the skull emoji, mind you. You know how I react to the skull emoji. So Izumi says, bro, the chapter ain't even out yet, and dude already talking about it's gonna be bad. And so, to that, I reply. Oh, you know I reply. Dang, you're riding his coattails harder than Boruto rode Naruto's. I got him good with that one. Iwabe would be proud of that one. Going back to whole freaking.
That's exactly what I thought.
2 shout out. That's a callback right there. I was proud of that one. So Izumi, as you can see, we get into a whole reply chain argument thread here. Izumi to me says, I do this a lot. Every time actually. Bro liking his own comment. Skull emoji. Oh, you know I'm coming back to the skull emoji. And explain to me.
It sounds exactly like the ones that you do with mine when people always say that. They always say that when you do like bros liking his own comments. They always notice.
No. Because what you said was the definition of cringe. Keep in mind, I did not like his comments, but I absolutely liked mine. Okay.
Damn, y'all want to warn these comments.
Oh, trust me, I'm getting. So this is where I really go off. I end this in the pray emoji because he's gonna need religion after I'm done with him. So to Izumi, I say in response, copy paste the definition of cringe, and sorry, I have enough positive thoughts about myself to enjoy the things I say. I hope you get out of your deep depressive mood swings so you can join the rest of us in reality. That's a very nice and positive comment on my part. But I also say to him, hello, I know you're a peg below the rest, but even you should be able to copy paste something, right? It might be above your skill level. ... I'm waiting. I'm still waiting.
That's exactly like the whatever his face. The one of mine.
Oh, God. Did you nerd rage? Please don't tell me you rage quit. Is it because you were losing so badly? Or did you get butthurt? And Trippy, the comment right here is the reason that I messaged you. I was like, okay, YouTube probably auto-filtered this. So...
Yeah, I didn't see this one, I don't think.
Dictionary. Definitions from Oxford Language. Learn more. Cringe. Verb. 1. Bend one's head. Okay, anyways, I copy-pasted the definition of cringe. That is the definition as per Oxford. There. I did it for you. Now, you said my comment was the definition of cringe. When I Control F search for the definition, I merely get 1 of 1 search results, indicating to me that the only time the definition of cringe has been brought up once, the time I brought it up just now. I believe the definition would be the true definition, as I trust both googleco.llc as well as Oxford Dictionary as reliable narrators, more so than I trust you, random hater in the YouTube comment section. This is unfortunate for you, I know, but when you are done wallowing in your own self-misery, I do have a question for you. Are you a devious liar or bafflingly stupid? He never got back to me.
I don't think he's going to get back to you after the first 2 replies.
It's only been 2 days. I have hope.
I really want to find the one from my channel now. Because it was the same thing where you made like 1 million replies and you just stopped answering for us. But like, it was pretty funny. Oh, Junior, that was his name.
This is a terrible look for you, Izumi.
I love how like the flow of the conversation is always the same. Bro's liking his own comments, skull face. Then
Or
he goes,
my 8 comments in a row. I was really dying laughing when I copied the definition of cringe. There, I did it for you. Listen, I think the real question on everyone's mind now is, why did Obito close Nagato's eyes after defeating Konan? So after Obito defeated Konan, Obito went to like the flower realm where Nagato's corpse was stored. His hair is white, his eyes are open or whatever. So let's remember, what was the reason for Obito coming to Nagato's corpse? Why did he do that? Can someone please remind me
that the eyes are still open?
Because I forgot. Why did Obito go to Nagato's corpse? What did he want with Nagato's corpse?
I think he was planning on stealing a certain Thanos colored type of eyes.
He was planning on stealing Nagato's eyes. So he arrives there as Nagato's eyes are open, and he plans to steal them. And Obito's first reaction, as per this podcast topic, is to close Nagato's eye. I think we're understanding why I wrote this down now. And any theories on why Obito closed Nagato's eyes and then off screen opened them again to steal them? Or maybe he left the eyelids closed and he used Kamui to get the eyes out of their socket. There's really
he was just being respectful.
Okay, but yeah.
That would actually be dope to see.
But then what is more unrespectable than opening someone's closed eyes just to take their eyes? Like, I don't think this is really sinking in. Obito closed his eyes only to reopen them.
I mean, to be fair,
I need to see the whole scene. Because
to be fair, in Obito's words, he did say this reality is basically fake and didn't mean shit to him, so he doesn't give 2 fucks about any of that.
Well, I was also gonna say, like, depending on how the scene is displayed, he may have like taken them off on screen. I just need to watch the whole thing to see if that is remotely possible.
Scrubbing through the video, there's Pain. Here's Obito. He already got his mask blown off, his arm blown off. Okay, so he's gonna steal the eyes. He's looking at, he's all sad. Look how sad he looks. Aww. And keep in mind, he's here to take this.
Okay, yeah, so he definitely had it. Okay.
So what's up with that?
Being oddly respectful, only to be very disrespectful later.
No, he said, you know what? I killed Conan, so let me at least like show some respect and close Obito's eye. Oh shit! Wait, I've got to take the Rinnegan. Hold on. Open his eyes back up.
You're like, oh yeah,
the Rinnegan back open. My bad. And then I'll close it again the second time.
Unless you want to argue, this is one of the coolest tricks in Naruto, because I know Kamui we want to make that video. What if we go frame by frame? What if he just yoinked it out at this moment? That'd be a cool trick in Naruto right there. I'll just say, like, again, frame by frame analysis
like,
is
just
possible.
We swiped it out in one go.
Can you imagine in this scene? Can you imagine this scene if he like Obito just like points away, just like Itachi did during that fight with Sasuke, and this is like all a genjutsu, and like he didn't do any of that shit.
Well, actually, hold on. When Obito uses Kamui, is he Kamuing Nagato in that next scene? Or is he just Kamuing away?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's pretty blatant. Okay, so he just Kamui's Nagato.
The whole,
okay. Oh, yeah.
With the eye closed, mind you.
So, mind you, how did Kabuto get Nagato's DNA?
Extra interesting. So he Kamui's Nagato there, and then he leaves without like he just jumps away. He doesn't even go into the Kamui dimension. He doesn't even use Kamui to leave. He just leaves. Does he even know where he is? Keep in mind, he Kamui'd into this place in the first place, so he shouldn't even know where this is.
Why did he even go back?
Where even is this? That's the real question.
It's probably the
Rain Village. It's somewhere in the Rain Village. It's like,
yeah,
but still though, yeah. What's he doing?
I just had to bring that up because I was watching the scene. I was like, wait a minute.
And I'm still wondering now how Kabuto got Nagato's DNA, because like I guess maybe he like spat some blood in the paper tree, but the paper tree leaves. So I don't know where Kabuto got Nagato's DNA. Because Obito has it. The body. Because originally I was thinking the body was just there and then Kabuto just went and got it. But clearly, he brought it to Kamui, so...
Yeah. Oh.
Like, where did he get Nagato's blood?
So wait, let me ask y'all this question. And Kamui, I think I already kind of know your answer, since, you know, I could tell from your profile picture you think highly of Obito. But what do the rest of you guys think about Obito as a character? Because one of the earliest videos that I made was talking about if Obito was a bad character, which I thought he was.
Well, let me clarify. The profile picture is Goofy Toby, not regular Obito.
Okay.
If that says anything.
Gotcha.
Obito is not my favorite character, contrary to popular belief. In fact, it's not even necessarily Goofy Toby. It's actually probably Pain, but that's besides the point.
On the previous topic, just to end that really quick, Duck says, you expect me to believe he would, dried Rinnegan? My Rinnegan are much stronger.
That's so gross. That's so gross.
Really funny. Oh my god.
Oh, so no, you know what it was? To that guy's comment, he doesn't want to dry Rinnegan, so he's gonna go outside in the rain village and let it sit outside where the water is. Let the rain.
But he didn't bring Nagato with him. Obito himself wanted to get wet.
Just instead of Kamui Dimension, he should just left him out in the rain.
In fact, what if he just took his body and threw where Jiraiya's corpse is? Just like left that shit, you know, just stacked them up.
Just throw it to the river.
Just throw that shit into the river. It's like, fuck both of these guys. Fucking losing and shit.
Hey, actually, did you know that Obito himself says that Jiraiya defeated him?
Stop.
He said what?
Obito says in a way he was defeated by Jiraiya. It's a true fact. I found that panel last stream.
Wait, in what
Dumb
way?
panel.
In a way.
It's because Naruto defeated him, and Naruto's Jiraiya's student or whatever.
Oh, I mean,
Dumb.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But he literally says this was only because of stupid debates we've had in the past. But like,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up that time. But like, it was just kind of funny. I was like, Obito, it says that Jiraiya defeated him.
Okay, I think
Well, you can look
Obito
at-
is a W character. I think he's definitely a good character. People are just wrong with their misconceptions. They're all just dumb, idiot, freaking Naruto faders. Obito good. There you go.
In what way, though? In
He's a
what way?
perfect foil for Naruto. He's a perfect, like, shadow Naruto. Anti-hero.
Okay, so basically the reasons that I brought up as to why I didn't think Obito was a good character was because I felt like there was too many elements of his character that were from other characters that were established before he was introduced into the story. You know what I mean?
What do you
he
mean?
almost
specifically?
okay, so specifically, so like the character that I brought up was Naruto himself, Gaara, Toby, and then Madara. So I was saying Obito was essentially basically like a recycled version of parts of all four of those characters. You know what I mean?
Toby, as in like Goofy Toby?
Yeah, exactly. Goofy Toby. Like he was basically just like like he was parts from Goofy Toby, parts from Madara, parts from Naruto, and parts of Gaara, all kind of just made up into this one character. And I'm like, but if we break this guy down, there's not much that's really individual to just him, Obito as a character. You know what I
I'm
mean?
assuming the Gaara aspect you're referring to is like the dark Naruto thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're getting a dark Naruto, even though we've already done dark Naruto before with Gaara. So I don't know why we're seeing. And I'm like, so that's the first aspect, right? The second aspect was Naruto himself, where I'm like, I mean, you hear from Kakashi, you hear from so many different characters, all the parallels between how similar Naruto and Obito were. Both were losers. Both were not, were like, ostracized from the village. No one really cared about them. Both were like these underdogs and shit, So basically, I mean, I even brought up in the video, Obito's like original, like childhood, like outfit were literally like inverted colors of Naruto's outfit. You know what I mean? Like Naruto's like the primary orange and then like the secondary blue. Obito was literally primary color blue, secondary color orange. It's like there's so many fucking like parallels. They both
I
had
never paid
goggles
attention to
and
that, but that
shit.
is cool. I never paid attention to that.
Yeah, and it's like they both had goggles when they were like really young. Obviously, Naruto got rid of the
I
goggles.
definitely noticed that.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's Naruto, right? And then I brought up Madara, where it's like, okay, when Obito literally becomes an adult and, finds his new goal of like, basically trying to reform the entire world with the infinite Tsukuyomi, he doesn't even do so as Obito. He does so as Madara. So this entire time, he's literally carrying on this role as another human being that everyone thought had been dead. But no, he's just carrying on this role of Madara. That's the third person that, his character's made up of. And the fourth person was Toby, where, we see him like literally go back and forth multiple times from being Goofy Toby, or just kind of letting Toby like just like kind of take over and like talk and just,
Not gonna lie, I think that's his actual acting. I don't think that's White Zetsu because of his appearance. It doesn't make any sense. I think that's just Obito using an act based off of that White Zetsu. But that's
I know there was a certain point in time where Goofy Toby like was like stopped being like kind of like this casing shell around Obito. I don't know when that was. I don't think it was ever clarified in the actual manga or the anime.
Well, the other thing is just honestly though, like the actual, if we're gonna get nitty gritty, the personality of Obito's Goofy Toby isn't actually the same as Guru. It's similar, clearly inspired by, but if they were the same, you bet your ass he'd be talking about poop. Like, in all seriousness.
No,
I would be.
I hear.
There's definitely differences.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not saying that they're like one to one the same. I'm more so talking about there's like elements of each of these characters that make up Obito.
Yes. However, I do think there's one thing. Well, I'm going to say two things. The Gaara aspect, I do get what you're saying. But there is a major difference, though, in that Obito is essentially the Naruto that turned evil. Gaara isn't the same. He's almost. It's almost like reverse in the sense Gaara was never like. I don't know how to explain it. Gaara wasn't ever like Naruto. He had a similar backstory. Obito doesn't. There's a difference with the Gaara thing, but even ignoring that, that's actually the point of Obito's character. He has an identity crisis just like Kabuto in a way. The point is, he doesn't exist. That's almost like his philosophy. Like, he's not the world, all these things. It's actually part of Obito's character that he acts like all these different people. That's part of his character. Like, that's meant to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. Honestly, like, and at the end of the day, it's like to each their own. Like me personally,
because you might not like that, and that's totally
yeah. So it's like for me specifically, like I hate copycat characters in this series. Like literally, I dropped a video recently talking about how much I fucking hate Nier in Death Note because he's literally just a copycat character of Light, or not Light, of L. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
just less good version.
You know what I'm saying? Like exactly. Like I just hate when clearly, you know, very good writers get to this point, and this is just kind of like my thoughts about it. I could be completely wrong, but when writers kind of get to this point of either like hitting like some kind of like writer's block or something, or not really knowing what next character to really like move the story forward, and like, okay, let's just introduce someone that's really similar to this previous character that everybody fucking liked. I'm like, that's
optimistic view is the correct way. It's a simplified version. Never mind your lump sums, averages shit. Like, it's not relevant.
Calmly. 20-second outro. It has to be under 6 hours so I can cut it up. You got 15 seconds.